Hello, everybody. Here we are. We are live. I put a little bit of music to introduce ourselves, to have this cool thing here, cool vibe. I will introduce our awesome guests. You love them. You lick their videos every time. And now we're going to have a bit of a chat together. Let me introduce you to the amazing Eddie, also known as Harry, and Jigger. If I hope I read it right. Yeah, which I just recently learned how to read it, because I would spell it I would read it in a totally different way, because I'm not Spanish. But yeah. So hello guys, how are you?
Hello, doing well, my friend. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us both. Pretty cool.
Can I ask you guys, like, why did you choose these names? Like, what's the history behind the names? Because like, they're not clearly nothing related to veganism, and also not necessarily related to your names, maybe, or I don't know. Like, can you tell a bit of a history of those names? Or
Sure, man. My YouTube name is Eri. She's short for my actual name is Heriberto. So Spanish name, Germanic in origin, I think. Etymologically, it means what is it that it means? Freaking brilliant warrior, which is interesting because Jigger's name, Guillermo's name, also has a etymological meaning related to veganism. It's interesting. Guillermo is also of Germanic origin. It means determined protector, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Eri is just short for Heriberto, cool. and my Instagram username is eat pussy not animals with a V instead of a U, which is one of my favorite foods.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, we're gonna get a. If it's on topic, we might get a eat pussy not animals thing here there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I can say hello to people. Hey, Sticks.
Do you recognize?
Welcome here.
Do you guys recognize Tasha's shirt with Eddie's username on the shirt?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Is that
on the back
shirt, or?
Yes, it is.
Vegans taste better. Awesome.
Yeah, it's from Vegan Clan, right? Dash Peterson.
Yes. And to be, let me see. And I also, before I had the shirt, I also bought the hoodie first.
Oh, love it.
Oh yeah, man.
And then this is my favorite part. So people that look at me from the back would read this.
If you're not vegan, you're an animal abuser. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. So
is it a hoodie?
Yes, a hoodie.
Does the thing
yeah it has the.
Yeah. Does it go on the letters if it's not
what do you mean?
No,
like
it doesn't go on the letters.
Okay.
It's not a lot of use in Puerto Rico for a hoodie, but
yeah, fair enough. I
have used it. Honestly, I have used it on the gym, and sometimes it can get a little hot, but like the message is too important to have it seen, so it's too important to wear it, even if I'm a little hot.
You're a lot hot, not a little hot.
So, I mean, not too much, but it's worth it. It's very much needed.
And in the gym, do you get any people asking you like, "Hey, what's up with that? Like, what does that mean?"
Honestly, not yet. But I cannot wait to hear the first time, because it's gonna be. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet, because it's such a shocking message. Like, why are people so like ignoring the message? Like, I don't know. I know people have read it, and it has to be, because I've been there good enough, like a good amount of times, and actually I should wear it again next time I go to the gym. Or I have been wearing the Eat Pussy Not Animals though, but
Anyway,
quite
Jigger,
a little more fresh.
we're a little bit off track. What's the history behind your name, Jigger Tisor?
All right, so Jigger, that's how it's pronounced. A lot of people say Liguer, Liger, but yeah, it's Jigger. My name is actually like my name is Guillermo, Guillermo, pronounced in English. And there's like a little funny story behind that. So my cousin, one of my cousins, had a little issue. Like he didn't know how to pronounce my name correctly, Guillermo. So instead of saying Guillermo, he said Gigermo, Gigermo. You know, so that's how it sounds, right? So what we did was just take out the M-O at the end and just like Jigger. Jiggermo, Jigger. And yeah, that's basically the story of it.
Interesting. I didn't know that the double L is read as G, like double L-I would say G. I would have read it just like Lig. I've been reading it like Ligger this whole time, and I'm like,
Liger.
what's
That's
going on there?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Have you been reading my name as Harry, like everyone?
Yeah, like Harry. I've been reading your name also like Harry.
Honestly, Eddie, I think it should be like, instead of like Harry, like just Airy. So people understand it better. It's like airy.
Harry, yep.
Not like Harry, but like, because it sounds like a lot of hair, like Harry, you know. But like airy Berto, something like that. If you like that, or if you want to go just by your usual Harry.
I mean, both of you have awesome hair, you know. So Harry would be like
right now I'm leaving it. I'm not cutting it. I used to have like in the picture you have on the live stream, I have longer hair. But that was like I mean, I don't even know how long that was, but yeah, I had longer hair, and yeah, I cut it like very short on August 1st, 2023, and yeah, I'm growing it again.
Love it. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna ask you some questions. You know, usually it's kind of the standard questions. Maybe you already have been asked this before. I'm sure you've been asked this before. Like, so how long have you been vegan, and what is the argument that made you switch to veganism? Like, what is it, that thing that clicked in your mind and convinced you to go vegan?
Well, for me, it was the first time I watched Earthlings was like so I would say I was like mostly like plant-based. Now that I can recognize what the difference is, I was plant-based before that, and then when I watched it, I was like, okay, so I now can call myself vegan because I'm not abusing animals anymore. So I know I can already call myself vegan after that. And that happened almost 4 years ago. I would be a 4-year-old vegan by June. So that happened. I saw Earthlings back in June 2020. So about the first 5 days. I would say the moment I watched that, since I had already seen like a lot of videos, like I don't know, the last click I needed was Earthlings. Like really watch everything that happens. Like, you know, I was yeah, before that, like I did a very slow transition because I was just unaware of that. But yeah, what didn't make me really vegan and like vegetarian was I'm a sweet tooth. I love candy and ice cream, everything, you know. So yeah, I used to consume dairy, not directly, but in ice creams, cakes, cookies, you know, desserts. So I still am a dessert lover. So yeah, unfortunately, I was abusing animals by that.
Yeah, you wouldn't say you're a dessert lover, man. You seem pretty slim, so it's like you know. How about you, Harry? Harry,
Yeah,
sorry,
so
Harry.
yeah, I've been vegan for 8 years now, going strong. Yeah, what originally convinced me of the position, I came across the arguments from a YouTuber that used to post stuff about veganism. He went by Koi Fresco. He now goes by Vishudaras. He teaches like Eastern philosophy and stuff. And then he made a video with all the arguments for adopting a plant-based diet, environment, health, and he also talked about vegan ethics. It made instant sense to me, man. Like I had no counter argument. I felt like a complete hypocrite by claiming to care about animals, be like, into ethics and shit, but at the same time exploiting them. So I pretty much went vegan cold turkey when I was aware of it. I also I was recommended Earthlings. I saw it, and shortly after I went vegan.
So it was you didn't necessarily need to see the videos when you started.
No.
It was a logical thing for you.
Yeah, I don't know to what degree it helped watching the video. It probably did to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, you can never deny that those videos do help with making a decision in that direction,
Yeah.
right? Especially with the credibility of the whole vegan statement. And what was the hardest thing that you found at the beginning when you started being vegan? What was?
For
Wait,
me, it has been
wait,
super
what?
easy since day one. To be honest, I haven't found anything easy. If hard, might be a little more inconvenient than the usual, but it's yeah, my convenience means nothing next to the animals' lives, man. So never been an issue to me.
Fair enough. How about
Yeah.
you, Jigger?
What was the question? I'm sorry. Can you repeat it?
What was the hardest thing that you found about veganism when you first started out?
Honestly, not really, because I don't think. I mean, maybe. I mean, not enough options, maybe, but still, like I'm always thinking about the animals. It's not really. It's easy when you think about the animals. When you think about the victims, it's easy. But yeah, like I don't think it's. If it's really hard for you, imagine how hard it is for the animals to go through that. If you actually like go the easy way and cravings and just eat an ice cream because it's like you're valuing taste over life. It's
What about
horrible for the animals.
what about the friends? Did you have difficulties with friends? Because I'm assuming by that time you don't your friends weren't necessarily vegan. And what's the state right now? Are all your friends vegan now, or how did that go? How did that transition with friends go?
So fortunately, I didn't
most of my
really.
friends are. Yeah, you can go ahead first.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, fortunately for me, I didn't really have friends, so I guess there's not much to say about that. So, but yeah, I mean, maybe I mean not friends in real life, but those people that knew me, like online, Facebook, like social media. Yeah, some issues there, right? When you start posting, you start being more publicly about animal rights, they're gonna take an issue with that, and they're gonna take an issue with the way you do it. It's always about the way, not the fact that you defend the animals, just the way, because it makes them uncomfortable. They don't want to be held accountable. So, but
I
yeah,
get that.
at least I didn't have to go through like losing friends in real life, because I didn't really have anyone in real life. So yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't really
I'm
call
sorry to hear
those
that.
online. Yeah, I wouldn't call those online friends real friends, because no, not really. Just people
How about now?
you've seen before. What do you mean?
How about now? Are you like, do you have a vegan friend group or something? How are you doing now with all of
Here's
this?
one of them right here.
Maybe not enough. No, I mean, I've met people, like we've been hanging out at like vegan hangouts. But those that I actually have spent the most time with has been you're looking at them. And I have another friend. His name is Meg. I don't know if he's watching, but if you're watching, hey Meg, what up? Yeah, he lives in Puerto Rico, but he's Filipino.
I think I saw him in your Instagram post, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's yeah, he's no, yeah, he's awesome.
He's around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost a decade vegan.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
Or
almost
no,
a
no,
decade vegan.
or more than a
No,
decade.
no, no. Oh, over. Yeah, like
12
11
years or
years.
something. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's impressive. Oh,
Yeah, man. For
impressive.
me, like most of my friends are still gardeners, unfortunately, in my family, and I burned some bridges because I'm a combative guy. I challenge everybody to debate me, but it's fine. You win some, you lose some.
No, yeah, I get it. But my initial, I mean, honestly, if somebody were to ask me what the hardest part about being vegan was the reaction that people had when I first told them, "Oh, dude, this is what's happening in the animal industry." But I like meat. You're not better than me, and all these shitty reactions. I'm like,
You
I'm
lost
just
some
telling
friends
you what.
over it.
Yeah,
Burn some bridges.
so many. Yeah, like I had like four WhatsApp groups. I'm already inactive in a couple of them, and I already left like two of them. So I'm like, it's not worth it. It's just the frustration is not worth it. So yeah.
I'm curious now. How long are you? Have you been vegan, and what convinced you initially?
I'm not like you guys. You guys are obviously better than me. You're not better. No, you're
What?
better than me. I'm like 2 years vegan. I'm like only 2 years vegan. I was vegetarian before that. I thought
2 years vegan.
Yeah.
At
was
what age?
34, something along. I don't know. After 30, age is I don't look at it anymore, to be honest. But I was vegetarian before that, and I thought being vegetarian is enough. So when I found out what's happening in the dairy industry, I was outraged, and I'm like, fuck that. I need to tell more people about it. Maybe more people think they're doing enough, but so it's kind of fucked up if you ask me. Yeah, and it was fucked up to find out how people react. And I remember the first month or two. Yeah, exactly. Watch the Minion. Nice.
And this is very much true because we have all been lied to. Even ourselves, even vegans, still don't know much about it. We still learn things every day, things that we still lacked information about. So,
Have you guys watched the Minion, by the way?
Yeah.
So I saw Earthlings, right? And then when I went to watch the Minion, I said, okay, so is this the same as Earthlings? So I didn't really watched it that moment, but I said I want to watch it, I want to finish it. But since I'm already vegan and I already saw Earthlings, well, I don't. There's no rush in watching it at the moment. So I was like already bombarded with all that, so I didn't want to like watch another one again. So I don't even know how much time it passed when I actually finished watching Dominion. I like put it again, like was ready to watch it again, like a different one.
I couldn't watch.
I've seen both. I also saw. This is a shorter one. It's a 48 minutes one. It's called Land of Hope and Glory by Earthling Ed.
Oh, yeah.
And I also watched that. I've seen so many documentaries, like graphic footage.
And how did you come across the meme originally? What convinced you? I don't know if you already told me.
It wasn't Dominion that convinced me, to be honest. I like watching debate videos online, and I kept watching. I first of all, at some point, I started watching a lot of philosophy because I just like philosophy as well. And then I started watching debates. I'm like, oh, maybe there's some debating online I need to watch. And then I watched the Joey Carbstrong's videos where he was debating people. And at first, I didn't think much of it. I didn't really put it into my own context, until he actually debated a vegetarian. And then that's when it clicked for me. That's when I put it into my own context, and I was like, holy shit, he's right.
You were already a vegetarian?
Yeah, I was vegetarian, not vegan. And
okay, for how many years?
6.
6 years vegetarian.
Yeah.
For me,
I was 1 week vegetarian. Not proud of it. Actually, you
Yeah,
don't
I
want the
wasn't.
cold turkey.
No, I get it. I get it. But you know, it's a society where there's not a lot of vegan people in the society. It's not a vegan society that we built on. And when you find out, you want to be vegan from the start. And well, for me, it was like I wasn't eating a lot of vegetarian products anyway, so it wasn't really that difficult. So the minute that I found out, I just said no more buying animal products at all. And I think I only slipped once where I bought this thing that had whey protein in it without knowing. And then I found out and I was like, oh, shit. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, it's not difficult. All the yogurts, you replace them with vegan yogurt. All the meats, mock meats. All the cheese, vegan cheese. Whatever, you have everything. What's the difficulty there? The difficult part is the people. That's what I found. So
But it's too expensive, though, right?
yeah, it's so expensive. You know, I'm a person who is very diligent about my expenses. So I put everything that I buy, I put in an Excel sheet. Well, not everything, but like the things that I buy commonly, I put in an Excel sheet, and I put every month to see how much I spend and all that. And since I became vegan, I spent less and less and less and less money up to a point, because now I'm kind of up and down each month. But it definitely is cheaper to be vegan. Even with me, who I buy a lot of mock meats and a lot of this kind of stuff, and it's like, but that's how it is in Netherlands, right? I can't easily justify it in other countries, right? Like, how's the vegan scene in Puerto Rico?
How's the vegan scene? I can't complain too much. It's fine. Yeah, at least at the metropolitan area where I live is plenty of options.
Do both of you live in San
Yeah,
Juan?
I live in Carolina, the Isla Verde, which is next to the airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
so I live about 30, 45 minutes from where he lives. It's in the center heart of the island. It's called Caguas, the city. And yeah, there are options, but with some restaurants, with my experience, Eddie has actually. So I've been vegan for a shorter time than Eddie, but so I've been doing stuff that he didn't. So he has learned things from me. He has learned that we cannot
do not trust anybody.
trust restaurants. We cannot trust restaurants in Puerto Rico. People don't even know I mean, everyone in the States is the same thing. Like, people don't understand the difference between vegetarian and veganism. Like, but
did his video
yeah.
froze for you?
Yeah, it did freeze for me.
Yeah, it actually did. I can see it's frozen a little.
No,
But it will unfreeze. It will unfreeze. We can hear you. Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
sure it will unfreeze in time, right? Like yeah, it just now.
So yeah, for example, there's a place that's kind of like pretty vegan friendly. It's like a market, and they offer pancakes, but one of the employees said that it was vegan pancakes, which I'm guessing they just don't add eggs or milk. But what about the mix itself, the pancake mix? It already has dairy, so they don't even check the brand. Don't even check the ingredients. Don't even check easier. Like, just go to contains milk. But yeah, I asked them. I asked them about the brand, and then told me. And then when I went to check milk, like, it had buttermilk, something like that.
Oh,
and yeah, I was like, you cannot call this vegan. It's not vegan. The mix itself already has milk. So you gotta stop like promoting it as vegan pancakes, because they're not. Either change the brand and use a brand that's actually vegan, that says it.
We've even seen stuff here in Puerto Rico being labeled as 100% plant-based or something, and then we ask for the ingredients of the bread, and it has lard, like pork lard.
Oh my God, the bread! That's the most.
Oh, we gotta be very careful.
Yeah.
Bread? What the hell?
Yeah.
Man.
No, in
So
Puerto
how?
Rico, you gotta be you gotta actually, anyone that's interested in coming to Puerto Rico, always ask the restaurant, especially if it's a non-vegan with vegan options. Sorry, uh, you always gotta ask ingredients or brand. Yeah, because they're not gonna, they don't care. Like
That's
they
insane.
just think it's the vegan vegetarian is the same thing. And yeah, they just tell you that, and they don't care to really look at the bread.
And
They think
they
it's
don't care to learn from the mistakes. Like sometimes we tell the employees,
exactly,
hey, this is not vegan. See the ingredient, that's not a vegan ingredient, and then they keep selling it as vegan. They don't fucking care.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they wouldn't like stop using that bread or like uh change the brand to an actually vegan certified bread. And it's
It's
one
kind of
thing that I've
insane.
wondered, like, so there's a restaurant that has a vegan option. And yeah, so I asked about the bread, and they showed me the bread, and yeah, I know it's they use a ciabatta. It says it on the menu. They use a ciabatta bread, but then there was a moment where I asked again about the bread, and they showed me a different bread. But at least I had already looked at that bread, and it was, I believe it's probably vegan because I didn't see any milk or eggs. I didn't see L16, which very common in breads, and I believe it's probably accidentally. But that's the
Yeah, I mean,
thing. Imagine it wasn't. So that's why I'm saying restaurants don't really care, because if they change a bread, like a different bread, they don't notify it to you. Like they don't know who they're serving this to. If it's a non-vegan, they're not gonna care. Oh, it used to be a vegan bread and now it isn't. Okay, I don't care. I eat animal products, so it's fine. But not us, or a vegetarian who is like uh although vegetarian because they're lactose intolerant. Like imagine the bread has dairy and they can't, like they could get in pretty much trouble.
yeah, they should always specify the allergens, and definitely if something is vegan, they shouldn't. Like if they say it's vegan, they should understand vegan means no animal product. It has happened to me also within my travels, especially in India. Like it's India is a vegetarian country, and you go there and you ask, is it vegan? And they say yeah. And does it have butter in it? They say yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
then it's not
Uh-huh.
vegan, and
Yeah.
they say yeah. I don't know
They
how it
don't
is
e-
there, but like in Asia, everybody just says yes to everything. Like you ask them, yes, yes, yes. You can't get a concrete answer. So most of the times, it's best to just go to vegan restaurants there to be 100%
Yeah.
sure that they're vegan, or to buy the traditionally vegan dishes, which is not always the case because they still use ghee there. So
Yeah. No,
I
and
also hear there's
that's
a very lack of awareness of what veganism even is. Like I've asked some restaurants, what vegan options you guys got? We got steak. Like
what? Wait,
oh my
what? Do
god.
they
that literally has happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
like?
he told me about that once. Eddie told me about that, but I was like, how do you? What were they hearing? Like vegan options? Like,
I don't know, man.
is it these people that think that if you
Maybe
eat a
they
cow
understood like
because
eating a gluten
they're
free or
grass,
something very random.
because they eat grass, so they're not like some people. That's like so crazy that people say, "Oh, I'm vegan because the cow eats vegan." So if I eat a like a vegetarian animal, I'm already vegetarian because I'm eating someone who does, like that makes no sense. You're eating
Yeah,
an
or
animal,
I
not.
ask if it's vegan, and they answer me with something else. Yes, it's all natural, like something like that.
Oh
They don't
yeah,
know
that's
what it
like
means. They don't know.
what's natural.
Yeah, I mean
I
it's
mean,
natural,
we
right?
understand
Vegan.
this, but when they say this, like gluten free is like, oh, so gluten is an animal? I didn't know. Is that something I just learned right now? I've been about 4 years vegan. I just learned that gluten is an animal. Oh, okay.
We love
Yeah.
gluten, man. Satan is the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Little
Satan is
Satan.
amazing. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, what happens if you
yeah.
go and ask, "Do you have Satan?" Is that everybody gonna think
Oh
something
yeah,
totally?
the devil.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Is it? I don't know. Like, is Puerto
Y-
Rico a religious country? How's that happening there?
Yeah,
yeah,
most
they
people
pretty much
are
are.
Catholic here. I was raised
Catholic, you said.
Catholic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm agnostic now. Jigger, I think, is agnostic too. We were
yeah,
both raised Catholic, I think.
yeah,
And most people are.
yeah,
I
yeah.
And it's
see.
one
I
of the
see.
one of the top excuses we hear here against veganism. It's like, but God put the animals here for us, didn't He? You know, it's one of
Yeah.
the most
Yeah,
common
I'm gonna lose
excuses
my.
you hear.
I'm honestly starting to lose my temper if I don't eat some seitan.
Well, speaking of outreach, I'll pivot to the next question, which is, were you nervous the first time you did outreach? Or are you nervous now? Do you have
So
times when you're
the question
nervous?
is for me. The question
For
is for me
both,
because I'm
actually.
the. Yeah, I'm gonna explain why. I mean,
Okay,
because
go ahead.
so it was because of me that Eddie started doing in real life activism. He actually joined me. I was like doing activism on my own with the sign and the computer showing the Dominion footage. And yeah, I mean that's like everyone gets nervous, of course. But yeah, you know this is too important to let your nervous like we have to do it. So that's
I
why I
get it, yeah.
always, even if I was like, yeah, we have to do this.
And
Like
that's very important. The reason
my
why I ask
nerves
this
are
question
not.
to people, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Nerves are not as important as like animal suffering, animal murdering, like exploitation, abuse, murder.
And I agree with you. The reason why I ask this question, I want to ask every time I meet with somebody, I want to ask this because I feel like there's a lot of people who are held back by the idea that doing activism is difficult, or that people are not nervous, or that I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, I was shitting myself the first time I did it, and I'm like, just empty your head, go there, say something. You say something stupid, that's okay. There's another person. You say something stupid, that's okay. There's the next person. In time, you learn and you
yeah,
defend the animals. That's all it is. That's
Yeah, man.
as long.
Likewise
yeah,
here. Like I had
yeah,
experience because I used to, before I started IRL activism, I used to do online debates, like Discord debates. So I knew I had the debating down, but it was this element of being out doing something awkward, a little bit socially unacceptable, filming in public. Yeah, the nerves got to me at first, but then I did it, and I just remind myself, like, there's a little holocaust going on, like
yeah.
this is warfare against bad ideas, like this is necessary, and I just stop
And that's
being
a good
a
point.
wimp when I do it.
And that's a good point to
Yeah.
remember. Like, I feel like also for me, it helps out to remember, listen, you're defending animals here. It doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable. It doesn't matter if that person feels, because a lot of times, I don't know if you have this also, but you go to these people who are friendly. They're like, hey, yeah, we're friendly. And you just know in like 5 minutes, they're going to be pissed off or something because you're going to have to defend animals against everything they say. But I don't know. I feel like you got to keep in mind that you're not there to make friends. You're there to tell them it is what it is. And it's not always
Defend the
easy to do.
victims.
Exactly.
So I've had like some family members like an aunt of mine that stayed here back in December for Christmas, and she's told me like she asked me if I like doing this, if I like doing activism, and she might think that I like it, but do I? No, not at all. But I do it because we have to. So it's not something um I find it's annoying. It's frustrating. It's not something that I love. I am happy. I'm happy to defend the animals, but the annoying to talk to people that kind of like it's kind of sometimes it's a, a f- uh,
Yeah,
a
don't worry, man.
breath.
Like,
What I'm trying to
chill.
think of. It's a fresh breathing fresh air when I talk to someone that actually gets the message, and it's
Yeah, man, it's refreshing to find somebody who's not a lunatic out there. It's very, I love
yeah,
it.
it's refreshing. That's what I meant to say. Like,
Yeah, when I just
because
run
there
name
was
the
a
trade
point.
from somebody and they automatically go vegan, I'm like, what? I love that, man.
Yeah,
I'm
there
sometimes
was a
I'm like,
point.
what do I say next if you're already saying you want to go vegan? Are you sure? Is that it can't be that
Yeah,
easy. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, and there was a point where Eddie and me, like his conversation and my conversations, like we were both talking to people that already like so annoying. So it was some fresh air when you talk to someone that gets it, that like starts to think, yeah, it's a Holocaust. It's a like,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it makes sense.
at the same time, psychology is complicated shit. So maybe those people that act like, oh,
Yeah, that's true.
uh, I agree with you, and maybe they're just not combative, and when they go home, they go straight to eating animals, man. Maybe it's
Yeah,
the combative
that has
people that
happened.
reflect on it. Maybe it's the combative people that reflect on it. I was a complete idiot in that conversation, and that those are the people that go vegan. So we never know, man, who ends up going vegan after the
Yeah,
conversation.
that literally
Yeah.
what he said actually happened. So we had a conversation before, like a while ago, with a dude. You know who I'm talking about, Eddie, right? The skate. Yeah, it was kind of, I don't even know to what level to put it, but it was crazy a little.
Yeah, man.
So
He
yeah,
he said to
it
me,
was
"No,
triggered.
don't
But
come at me
then
with this
later,
confucianism bullshit," and he was like super
yeah,
combative. But then,
mhm,
like 20 minutes into the conversation, 180 degrees change. He was like, "Then I completely agree with you guys."
yeah. There, so there were words that I said to him that he didn't like, but he later messaged us on Instagram, and he said that, uh, yeah, that word when your friend said that, like, he messaged Ari saying your friend, so me. Yeah, what he said, it actually shocked me.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's true. It
calling the
was,
animals corpses, the meat, calling the
yeah, and
GMOs,
like
and I was
Holocaust,
and
everything, all that.
he told me specifically that the thing that got his gears turning at first, it was the name the trade thing with the words Holocaust in it. It was like, damn,
Yeah.
like yeah, like we are animals too, so there's literally no response to that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So but did he go vegan eventually, or was he like
Hopefully,
just
man,
confined?
haven't come across him.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It has happened to me,
We've
by the
talked a
way.
little bit. He's talked about some foods that he's like buying, but I mean, we don't really know if he's like not just food, but like, is his shampoo vegan now and cruelty free? Is his toothbrush vegan and cruelty free? Is deodorant, like whatever, everything? I don't know.
But I think the idea is for him to
So
understand more than actually making, because I think like, yeah, you need to make all the choices obviously, but the
yeah.
most important
No,
part is
and
to
he did
understand
see
more.
he started watching Dominion. He said that even I think like the first he said he mentioned like the first 10 minutes or something. He was like, "Holy shit!" Just the first minutes, he was already like shocked. So I don't. I hope he actually finished it and didn't leave
I
it
get that.
What were
like a
you
few
about to
minutes.
say? Like,
Oh, it happened to me that I had with I went with Christina. We went with the free. We went to the university, and we had there we had the We the Free table, and we discussed with people. And I had a conversation with a girl who, yeah, maybe maybe I pushed a bit hard with her. Sometimes I don't know, should I push, should I not push? I'm still figuring it out. And like a week afterwards, we went in the same place, and I saw that girl again, and I asked her, "Are you vegan? I remember talking to you. Are you vegan now?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Fuck, I don't have
oh,
patience to talk to you." I said, "I don't have patience to talk to you. Talk
next
to
time you
somebody else."
push.
It's yeah, it's you never know what works with these people. And she told me that, yeah, she's gonna try, she's gonna look into it, and yeah, no.
Some people have messaged you that they went vegan because of your activism.
I only got that once, to be honest, not a lot.
Yeah.
But I also have the, at We the Free, the cards that I give out. They have a code, and I have statistics based on that code. So I see which people enter, and I saw that like I think 2 or 3 people tried the challenge 22,
Mm.
and like 40 people were trying to visited the page and looked at the information. I don't know. I have all these stats where like 2 people looked at Dominion and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know how many of them went vegan. I tend to think not a lot. I think not. I don't think I'm a finisher. You know, I believe like with veganism, there's beginners, there's intermediate, and there's finishers. I think like I'm not a finisher, because to be a finisher, you really need to be pushy in the right way for a person. You need to really know that psychology of a person. And I think I'm more of either the beginning or the middle. I'm better at that, where I just push the person along.
Planting seeds,
Exactly.
or watering seeds or whatever.
Yeah, and the point of mine recently made a good point that you know, like, because he saw my video that had like 45 minutes and had this discussion with this guy who was just so intense and everything, and he said like, listen, maybe sometimes you should just stop. And he made a good point, like, you know, stopping mid conversation may mean more at some point, because maybe the best you can hope for with this person is just planting a seed. So stopping mid conversation may
Yeah,
mean that you
with that,
planted a
like,
seed.
as I don't know about that. Like, that's an empirical question. It might be a good thing to stop mid conversation. It might be a bad thing. So I just rather, uh, unless like they're repeatedly contradicting themselves in something like that, it's just no use to have the conversation. But I like feeling that the debate reached the conclusion that they either
Same.
went vegan, or they accepted some horrible reductios, bit some bullets, or they contradicted themselves like 3 times and strike out. Like, I'd rather it reaches the conclusion, because we never know. It might be a good thing to, keep the conversation going, and maybe they have some questions or whatever. Yeah.
Same. And sometimes it just happens that there's this conversation where they're like, they feel like, and then they understand, and then they say this one small thing, instead of like saying, yeah, I understand animals shouldn't be treated this way, they say something like, yeah, I understand, I'll try to reduce it, or some shit. I don't know. I'm like, oh, wait, you didn't get it. If you're saying
You didn't
you
get it.
reduce it,
Yeah.
you didn't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
proposition is not like, you should reduce. The proposition on the table for us that debate this topic is veganism is a moral obligation. That's the proposition
yeah,
on the table. Yeah, if you still have a different attitude towards that proposition, then you didn't get it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, if we're talking about this, I actually am wondering to put the point this question at you. Like, what do you think about? Because how utilitarian are you with this? Because if you would assume that asking people to reduce would actually save more animals, like say you during your lifetime you will outreach 1,000 people. I'm sure it will be way more, right? But let's assume that it's 1,000 people, and those 1,000 people, if you find out through some weird statistics that it would have been better for them to telling them to reduce would have got them closer to veganism or faster towards veganism, do you think it would be a better idea to call out and say reduce, or do you think it's a better idea to try to get them to understand the issue and just go
Okay,
the way?
so yeah, so it's already baked in the hypothetical that it would be a better thing in terms
Yeah.
of reducing. Yeah, like, I'm not a utilitarian like that. So even if it turned out to be, because obviously in reality it's an empirical question. You like, we don't know if advocating
Yeah.
for meatless Mondays or advocating for abolitionism is going to reduce the amounts of animal murder. In reality, it's an empirical question. But in this hypothetical, where it's like already true that we would convince more people promoting meatless Mondays or some shit like that, I personally wouldn't do it. Like, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable advocating for that trash, man. Like, I'm an abolitionist. I advocate for like ending the animal holocaust. Like, if there's like a certain
Yeah.
threshold, something like I'm like creating like millions of vegans by promoting meatless Mondays or something, like, maybe, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not a utilitarian like that.
Beatless Monday.
Yeah, rapeless
Beating your
Mondays.
wife
I don't
only
feel comfortable with that. And I wouldn't feel
5
comfortable
days,
like that in the
6
days
days
of
a week.
slavery. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that in the days of slavery, like advocating for treating your slave better, or like something like that, or like on Mondays. No, I would advocate for abolitionism. I would do the same thing for animals.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why when I had this question in my head was because I said to myself, at some point we're definitely going to have lab grown meat, not necessarily for the animals, but rather because it's extremely bad for the environment. It's extremely expensive to produce meat, and it's clearly unsustainable, right? So all of this is the driving factors of most governments, most companies, and all of this to adopt the plant-based and lab grown meat. It's unfortunately they don't care about morality or any of it. So my thinking is that, let's say 2100 is when lab grown meat will be 100% on the market, right? So by 2100, that means a certain amount of animals will die for that. So my question was in my head, like, okay, but if, let's say, a million animal a million, Jesus Christ, a million probably animals die until then, even more than that, but like, let's say there's this number that die until then. If we advocate slightly differently for different things, like reducing it, and less animals die, even if the outcome eventually is the same, but for different reasons, are we? Because you see, like, are we putting ourselves first when we're saying, I advocate for abolishing
Abolishing.
this, yeah, or like I'm not a utilitarian, so I'm also an abolitionist, but
Mhm.
these questions come to my head, so I always like to hear answers from others people, what they
Yeah,
think about
yeah.
that.
For me, it's about like sticking to the truth and advocating what I believe is the right thing. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable advocating for anything less than abolitionism. Like yeah, and I have some deontology in my ethical system, not like a utilitarian.
I see.
In my opinion, in my opinion, uh, the reason I don't see like we're not moving fast enough. Like I see so many people supposedly saying they're vegan, and then now I translate that when I hear like ex vegan supposedly. I translate that to ex plant based. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, because I see like people, if they're not thinking about um what's the word that was used before, like abolishing um yeah, animal agriculture and everything. We're not gonna go too far. Like if people think in a utilitarian way, we're still using animals. We're not gonna go too far. We're not like too many people going back, like too many plant-based people going back to ex plant-based. So
I mean, and in reality, we
we're
have
we're
no
not
reason.
doing something.
Yeah, like it's an empirical question, and in reality, we have no reason
Yeah.
to believe like advocating for reducitarianism is like a stronger message to save animals than abolitionism. Like I see no reason to believe that, so I don't know why I would put those ideas out there, which are wrong.
no, 100
Yeah,
percent.
but the thing is, they're only seeing, they would do it for themselves, not for the animals. So if they don't really have the animals in mind, they're not gonna care to go back. So it's like we gotta create like ethical vegans, not utilitarians, animal eaters. Because they're not gonna see an issue with eating animals and using animals, riding
Yeah,
animals.
reducitarian would be the word.
Like yeah. So
I completely agree. I believe
yeah,
that the reason why the
Yeah, go
reason
ahead.
why I make this exercise for my head, that's a lot of the times, is because and by the way, Jigger, I'm sorry if I keep interrupting you. Sometimes I interrupt you because I feel like I understand what point you're making, and I just
yeah.
want to continue the conversation because your connection is not great. That's the only reason. I think you're making great points. It's
Oh,
just that
sorry.
this connection isn't always great, right? Um, so the reason why I think about this a lot of the times is because I try to put myself in. I really want people to go vegan. I really want this, and sometimes I put myself in the position of a person who is just meeting this stranger on the street, and they're like, the stranger tells them that everything they thought they're doing their whole life, they've been taught, is not right. So I try to think of myself of, okay, well, obviously, to me, veganism is logical. It's right. I didn't need to see the videos. It just makes a lot of sense to me, right? But then again, it's I don't know. I don't want to say it's a bias towards myself, right? But I have, with all the information that I have right now, it's the most logical conclusion to me. But if somebody comes and tells me, "Hey, there's new information, there's this logical conclusion," I try to challenge myself whether I don't know if I would be able to say reduce because I believe so strongly in this, right? So is it me who's being selfish if I were somebody would bring new information and say this, or is it you see what I mean? Like that's kind of my train of thought right here, and trying to picture myself in the position of the people to try and see what would get them to change, because what would get me to change to say, okay, if somebody gives me empirical data 100% true that reducing, like it's a hypothetical obviously, right? Like if hypothetically speaking enforcing reducing would save more animals than advocating for abolition, would I be able to do it? And I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, I think it comes down to what your values are. I personally see it as an evil thing to promote that. Like I see it as lying, as putting like evil, false information out there that it's a good thing to reduce instead of quitting cold turkey or abolishing this horrific industry. But by the way, I like that point of process that you said, Jigger. Like if you get whatever idea I'm trying to put across, I feel free to interrupt me. I really don't mind at all.
Same.
What's that, Ari?
Yeah, well, he said that he sometimes interrupts you because he knows what you're trying to get across, or your connection is a little bad or
Yeah.
whatever. Like I see no problem with interrupting. Like as long as the
Yeah,
idea
I'm sorry.
is in your mind.
I'm sorry about my my connection not being the best.
It's because
we were talking
Am I
about
being like
yeah, you're being
the audio
that's why.
interrupts?
Yeah, we were talking about
Oh,
us being
dang.
at the same. We were talking about us being at the same location, like both at my computer while doing this. I think that would have been a better idea. You didn't come here in time.
That's okay. That's okay.
No,
It's okay.
and
We're
I was
having a
thinking
conversation,
that,
so.
yeah, as long as you can hear me, understand me, and hopefully it doesn't the audio doesn't disconnect, that's fine.
Yeah, we can hear you. I think there's just a little bit of a lag. So that means that when you break a sentence, when you break for a sentence, I try to say something, but then you instantly start saying something else. So like that's why, because the conversation doesn't flow as natural when you have a little bit of a lag because of that.
Yeah, it's just like a lag. Okay. Yeah, that explains.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, actually you made a very good point there. By the way, I don't want to be wrong. Is it Eddie or Airy? Is it like with a D or with an R?
No, with an R.
R.
Yeah.
Airy. Okay.
Heriberto.
Because Heriberto. Heriberto. Okay, that's how. Okay, so you made a very good point there, Airy, and I agree. Like maybe this is the answer to all of it, right? Because it shouldn't be that the ends justifies the means, right? It should never be that we can justify saying or lying or doing all sorts of shit just to justify our own conclusion, right? The whole point of it should be at each point that you're going forward, you should be advocating for things that are true, things that are moral, and
things that stand the test of time, things that you see that are in the right side of history, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what your values are. You could be like a stone cold utilitarian, and that sounds good to you. It doesn't sound good to me.
Yeah, me neither. No, I'm not. I'm definitely not that. I actually have a problem with utilitarianism. But given that we're talking about utilitarianism, and I know how there's this predators discussion going around, I know your position that you say. So let me reiterate if I understand your position correctly. Your position is that we should kill predators to save the victims, right? To save the prey, the animals that are prey, correct?
More specifically, my position is that killing odd ordered predators is either morally justified or morally good. It might even be a good thing.
Okay, but does that mean, because does that mean that right now, let's say you have the power right now to do this, does that mean that you would go in the wild and kill the lions?
if I would do it. If I had a gun, I'm seeing the lion right
Is
in
a
front of me.
lion?
I would kill it. It would be a good
I
thing to
want to
kill.
understand,
He killed the being, yeah, the lion or whatever. Yeah.
Eddie. Can you explain a little because I don't know exactly what the thing with the odd order, like who's not who, like I don't understand much about that. The odd
Sure,
order thing.
I'm happy to clarify. Do you know what I'm referring to with odd order and or even order, Predator?
I understand what you mean, right? You mean that this is a predator to this, and then the next predator to this, so that basically animals don't eat each other. That's the point of it, right?
Exactly. So an odd order predator would be like a primary predator, a predator that's primarily or entirely killing innocent prey animals, like innocent herbivores. So that would be a odd order predator. An even order predator would be a predator that's eating other predators. So it's doing the job for you of killing other predators. So it would be a bad thing to kill that predator.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mentioned my position to you on Instagram, and I believe that I personally wouldn't go around killing all the lions with this, but I am in the middle of it. Like, I believe that if I'm in the wild and I'm noticing that a lion is about to attack, and this is where kind of I become utilitarian a bit with it, right? Because if
Yeah,
I
there's
a lion,
some people in the audience saying this position is not consistent with veganism. I'm happy to argue for it being not only consistent with veganism, it extending logically from vegan values. But go ahead and clarify your view.
yeah, so my view is that if I'm in the wild and I see a lion attacking a gazelle, yeah, I don't know. I would try to stop the lion, I guess, not necessarily kill them. I would try to stop them. I don't. If let's say if somehow in this hypothetical, I would know that the lion will die if they don't eat the gazelle, then I believe it's either the lion or the gazelle, and I'm not at liberty to make this decision. So because just because I'm in a position of power where I could choose between one or the other doesn't mean I get to. So then I wouldn't necessarily kill anyone and just let them handle it on their own. Maybe the gazelle runs away. Maybe the lion eats the gazelle. I don't know. If again, if the lion dies otherwise. But then if a lion attacks a family of gazelles, then maybe this is where I said like maybe utilitarianism becomes a thing in my head, because then I'm like, okay, maybe killing a lion is better because we save all these a family, right, where it's more people. But then if a lion is killing a prey, like it becomes very complicated very fast, because if a lion is wanting to feed their family and they have to just kill one gazelle and then they feed a family of 8, right? It's difficult to assess, and that's why sometimes I feel like in this whole situations maybe it's better to not intervene, except maybe.
Can I ask you a couple of questions to see where exactly is it that we disagree on this whole
Yeah,
thing?
let's do this.
Because the way I see it, like veganism just follows logically from some things that we already share common ground in, like universal human rights.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, like obviously, I want to
Ramel
clarify
is back.
if it was if there was a way, like a non-lethal way around it, we could like
He's
end
supposed
this
to say
issue.
sorry.
Jigger, you're
Sorry.
you gonna say something? Yeah, if there was like a non-lethal way around it to like end this issue of predation and herbivorous predators or something like that, I would obviously choose the non-lethal way. But right now, there's no pragmatic way to save these innocent animals unless you're killing the predators. Like I just wanna, because I think if this whole thing, as vegans, we should be consistent, because if we're not being consistent in the human versus animal context, I think we're being speciesist. So let me ask you this. You saw my conversation with AJ, right? I
Yes.
posed this hypothetical, like I said, like let's hypothetically speaking, let's say that there was this predator roaming the earth, which was in a predator prey cycle with humans, and let's call it a chupacabra, and you were in a helicopter, you saw a chupacabra, and you were fairly certain that this chupacabra was gonna go around killing humans in the near future. You had no reason to believe it wasn't gonna kill humans. It's a young chupacabra or whatever. Would you shoot it?
Yeah, and that's where because in your question, I guess I have a problem with one of these things, so that I can answer correctly, is when you say that I know for sure. Is it a
No, I didn't
certainty?
say for sure. I said we can be fairly certain, to the same degree that we're fairly certain that a young lion is gonna hunt to survive. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't kill chupacabra even if I knew it would attack a person, mainly because I don't like to make decisions like this based on my assumptions.
Okay, so
And
let me ask you this, because yeah, there's this element of uncertainty, like maybe the
exactly, there's the
chupacabra dies
uncertainty.
or whatever. But let's say you
Exactly,
saw the
yeah.
chupacabra directly running towards a family of innocent humans. Like you saw it, like literally the only way to prevent
Yeah,
this
clearly.
this death, or this like eating this family alive, would be to shoot the chupacabra. There was a non-lethal way. There wasn't a non-lethal way around it. Would you pull the
Yeah,
trigger and kill the chupacabra there?
most likely, yes.
So yeah, you would shoot it. Like, but
Most likely, I'm not sure if I could be capable of killing, but if I, let's say in this hypothetical that I am capable of killing a chupacabra and I would see them attacking a person or a family, as you said, then probably yes, yeah.
and I would too. So we have common ground there. Like
Yeah.
if I was in this situation where I could either stand around and do nothing and watch an innocent family get ripped apart in front of my eyes, or pull a trigger and save that family from the horrific situation of getting eaten alive, I would shoot the predator. But I just don't see like a very significant difference between watching that happen in front of my eyes and like knowing with a high amount of certainty that this chupacabra is gonna kill humans in the near future. I have no reason of assuming it's not gonna kill humans, so I would still shoot it to save the humans. Presumably, you wouldn't. You would like uh, be fairly confident that this chupacabra was gonna go around killing innocent humans. You would be comfortable like not doing anything about it and let it roam freely to kill humans in the near future.
Yeah, you see, it becomes very fuzzy to me in that sense, right? Because and maybe this is just my own emotional bias in the whole picture of it, because I feel like if I see somebody, like it's the same with the Hitler thing as well, or maybe not the Hitler, like a killer. There's a killer on the loose, and like a human being killer, and I see them on the street. First of all, I don't think I would be capable of killing an animal or a person unless there's a situation where they're attacking, or I have to defend somebody, right? That's the only moment when I think I would be in some form or another capable. So maybe that already answers my question. But I think you're looking for the answer, which what do I think is moral more than anything, not what I am capable of per se, right? So
Exactly. What do you think is morally justified? Maybe you're not the one doing it, but would you see like let's say somebody else was flying around in the helicopter, and somebody else saw the chupacabra, and that person had no reason to believe this chupacabra was not gonna kill anybody in the near future, and they decided to shoot the chupacabra, and the reason was to save some humans. He didn't feel comfortable letting this chupacabra uh, roam the earth because he knew like in the near future he's going to kill humans, and they shot the chupacabra. Would you see that action, and would you say it's morally justified or a good thing to do, or would you say that's wrong?
well, this is such a, because I listened to your conversation before, I find it such a difficult, because I understand the consequence of it. Like I understand that saying, because if I say it's morally wrong to kill the chupacabra, I still think it's morally wrong to kill the chupacabra. I'm sorry. I think any sort of killing, unless you absolutely have to,
Sure.
is wrong. And if
I
you're in
think
a situation,
I think I agree with you. I think we share the view that yeah, there's something wrong about killing this like being that's not a moral agent. Obviously, it's an innocent being that's like a victim of its own genetic code or whatever. But
exactly, yeah.
like it would like the question is, maybe you still see it as a bad thing, but would it be justified in the like, because it would like prevent a further rights violations along the line?
But don't you think this is a false dichotomy? Because don't you think like us saying that the only way to protect ourselves against this predator is to kill this predator, or to not even kill the predator, but rather, because what you're suggesting is that we completely eradicate this whole species on the on the from the face of Earth, right? Like
No,
the
no, no.
chupacabra.
That's not my that's not my position.
But doesn't this mean that, because if you say that if we see a chupacabra, do we kill them just because we know they're probably going to attack people? Because the probably, I think like the probably in this case is what throws me off and kind of makes me think that it's the false dichotomy where we only have these two options, where the chupacabra is either going to live and kill some people, or we kill them and we don't kill these people, right? Like, I don't think like these are the only two options. That's my problem right there.
Well,
Like,
they're the only two options pragmatically speaking right now. But obviously, I favor long-term solutions for these. Like I favor ending the issue of predation one way or another. Like hopefully, like with some technology that, let's say, we could separate these beings and give them
yeah,
like paradisal lives, and feed them, feed the predators lab-grown meat. And
exactly.
let's say there was a pragmatic way to do that, and we had the technology to do it. I would rather obviously do that than kill anybody. But the
Yeah, but
reality is we have no pragmatic way around it right now. There's like
but
either let them free to kill other beings, or kill them.
but is that really the reality? Because if you think about it, the predator, like a lion, is clearly a predator also to humans, right? And bear is also a predator to humans. Like all of these animals, if they will see a human being, and a lot of cases they might attack a human being, right? They might actually, I think a lot of them are not that unfriendly to people. But let's just in that way. But like, I believe that even in these cases, because as humans we clearly have created spaces that are safe for us, like cities, like all of this, and then create this, like, we can always just create fences and make sure these animals never cross these fences. And if it were in a situation where it's
Yeah,
this
but
super animal,
they're gonna kill and rip each other apart. Maybe the humans are protected from the predation, but there's gonna be innocent gazelle, innocent buffalo, or whatever the victim, whatever victim we're talking about. Those animals are gonna be horribly eaten alive. And if I was that animal, I would rather somebody shoot my predator than let me be eaten alive. And like, I see veganism as like an extension of that, like the golden rule. Like, we already think like humans should have a right to idealize self-defense. Like, if there was like an axe murderer running around, like, and he was about to kill my own friend Jigger right here, I would shoot that person to save Jigger.
100%.
And,
Yeah.
and I think we should extend that same moral consideration to animals, because I don't see any morally significant difference between Jigger or any other of these innocent prey animals.
But there is like, so first of all, I agree with you that there's no difference that would justify killing one animal or the other, but there is a difference that would justify a difference in treatment, if you think about it, right? Because as you said, Jigger is obviously more valuable to you, so you'd kill a human being to save Jigger,
No,
right?
sure,
But
sure. But
like,
even if we're
Jigger,
speaking about a random human being in the middle of another country, like, I would still save that person from a predation event or something.
yeah, exactly. So but what if, like, because if you're in a like, if you see a human being attacking an animal, like, it's the same question, right? Like, if you see a human being attacking an animal, would you kill the human being?
Yeah, so it would be morally justified in a vacuum to do that, but obviously there's pragmatic reasons to not do that. Like, we're gonna be imprisoned if we do this. Like, there's symmetry breakers in the human context. Like, if we start like
Yeah.
shooting like slaughterhouse workers or carnists or something like that, we're gonna, like, there's a couple of symmetry breakers. One of them is we're gonna like be imprisoned. Another one is like vegans are gonna be labeled terrorists, and the movement's gonna fail most likely.
Yeah,
So
of
we
course.
don't want that. We want to be free and defend the animals. And the other symmetry breakers is that, like, I think a vegan world is around the corner, man. I think we're gonna legislate against these people that are killing animals in the near future, like hunters or like carnists and stuff like that. So yeah, there's just like a couple of symmetry breakers in the human context. In the animal context, it's already legal in some places, and not only legal but socially acceptable to go out and hunt some animals.
But I think I want to ask you another question, but I think but I'll tell you what my point is
But
before I
wait,
want to ask
before
you
you ask
another
me the
question.
question, I want some clarity just to see if we disagree on
Yeah.
this whole thing completely, or if there's some common ground. Like, let's say you had two choices, like between two worlds, world A, world B. World A is a world that goes completely vegan, but the issue of predation continues perpetually for the rest of eternity. Animals are ripping each other apart, and we don't intervene at all. Or world V, we somehow, another vegan world, we somehow intervene and do something about this issue of predation, and it stops. And animals are freed from like being eaten alive. What world would you choose?
Obviously, world B. But
Okay, so we share that. We have common ground in that.
we,
We're just disagreeing about how to go about it and to create that world. But we already think that should be a goal that humanity has to end predation.
yeah, and in a sense, I have several issues with killing predators. I mean, there's ethical reasons. There's also the science reasons, right? Like when you start killing predators, you can destabilize ecosystems very easily, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily something we should be involving ourselves in because of that. And then how far do we go with all of this? Like, do we also go for bugs? Because, if we go for bugs, then do we kill frogs because frogs kill bugs? They eat bugs, or like I feel like it's fair to acknowledge that there is a scale of value that we value, right? Because we will always value humans a bit more than animals, I feel like, regardless, right? Like, let's say, because that's why I wanted to ask you next, right? Like, I want to establish that we all kind of have this scale in our head, because if you are in international water, if you yourself and you see a person attacking a shark, you would basically have what if you kill them, I don't know, in international waters, there's no repercussion legally, um, and you would be saving, I don't know, or shark or a dolphin, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Because you said shark is a predator, so let's say they're killing a dolphin, would you?
Yeah, but it's unclear whether they're even order or odd order predators. It's complicated in marine biology, so I wouldn't know if
Yeah,
I'm doing
fair.
a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
And also,
because
like the marine ecosystem are super complicated. So it is possible that the downstream ecological consequences are pretty bad. But yeah, you said something about the ecological consequences.
yeah,
Again, that's an empirical question. Like I would be against killing predators if it turned out to create like horrible ecological consequences downstream. But that would still, like, that would be a case against killing all predators. I would still be in favor of killing some predators in the meantime, or killing like at least odd order predators, or it being justified. Just like it would be in the human context. Let's say the chupacabra was doing a good thing by hunting down humans, because humans are the most overpopulated animal, right? Let's say
yeah.
scientists would tell you, yeah, it's a good thing that this chupacabra goes out and eats innocent children alive. Would you be comfortable letting it do that just because it has positive ecological consequences? I wouldn't be comfortable doing that.
No, obviously not. No, I mean, I think because even when you had this discussion with the turning veganese, I realized about myself that maybe I am a bit speciesist, right? Because I mean, I don't, maybe it's in my DNA or something. I understand the logic of it, that we're all equal, we're all sentient, we all have the same moral value. But
Yeah,
if you
I
ask me
wouldn't
how
go
much,
that far. Like I wouldn't like. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but I wouldn't say we're literally all equal. Like I would like accept that there's like a hierarchy of value, or something
yeah,
like that.
exactly.
I would
That's
rather
exactly
kill an ant than kill you, for example. Like if
hundred
I had
percent.
to make
Yeah.
a choice.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I realized also from that discussion, right? And I don't know if that means I'm speciesist, but it just definitely means that if I were to choose between saving an animal and saving like if there's a burning building, right, a burning building thing, and I have to choose between saving an animal and saving a human being, unfortunately, I would save a human being. I realize that. It's a pity to say that. And obviously, like if I just were faced only with this choice in front of me, I would save the human being. So in a sense, I do value human beings more than animals, and doesn't mean I value animals that much less that I want
Is
to
that true?
exploit
Is
them.
that true in all cases? Like, let's say it was between killing a vegan dog, or like the most staunch anti-vegan, or something like that.
It's true
Who
in
would
all
you save?
cases. Yeah,
It's
it's true
true in
in
all
all
cases.
cases.
You would save the
It's true.
anti-vegan. Okay. Yeah.
I would say so. So first of all, anti-vegan. I have no. I believe that anti-vegans, all of these people who have different ideologies, I believe they're just misinformed people. I don't necessarily think they're malintentioned. I don't think they have bad intention in their at heart. I think they're just misinformed, frustrated, lacking critical thinking skills, and lacking emotional maturity enough to realize what they're doing or what they're advocating for. But
I think that might be true in some cases, but I'm pretty sure there's some people with horrible values out there that have already reflected on their values. They're aware. They're not ignorant about it, and they still choose to like kill animals, like for pleasure, because they like the taste. And I've met some people that in the name the trade reductio, they even say they would be okay killing mentally disabled humans. Like, what are you gonna do with people like that? That those like are people with fundamental value differences, and those people exist.
I love that you're challenging me because I want to be challenged on this. So I don't know if I was in a burning building situation and I were to choose between, let's say, a killer, which is definitely a bad person, right? Between a killer and an animal. Fuck me if I know. I have no clue what I would choose. Obviously, I would feel like if I know that that person is a bad person and they're gonna do bad, somehow in my head I will say, and let's put aside the fact that my instinct will do something different than what my brain will actually say, because in situations like that you often just react based on instinct. I don't know. I would believe that the morally better way would be, because I don't believe in what do you call it? Fuck, the numbers thing, the utilitarianism. Sorry. So I don't believe in the utilitarianism, but I do believe that everything eventually falls to utilitarianism. So right, I think the when I was discussing with my friends, I'm sort of a utilitarian with rules. That means I have rules before everything, and if all the rules fail, then yeah, I boil down to utilitarianism. So that means
Yeah, I don't think
which
we
one saves more
disagree.
life.
Would you say that you're like a threshold deontologist or something, or you haven't figured out exactly what your normative ethic is?
Yeah, so sort of that. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so you like the most pressing, the most important thing to you is if, like preventing rights violation, following rules, but
Exactly.
utility also matters. So it's like a pluralistic system where like
Exactly. Yes.
yeah, like I share the same view.
Yeah. Because I mean, at some point it does like. I mean, I like to discuss this kind of stuff because it challenges my brain. The reality is they're unrelated to veganism that much. Like we can say whether this aligns with veganism or not, but the reality
What's
of it is that
unrelated?
like this whole predator thing, right? I think like yeah, we can discuss it. I believe that maybe it is related to veganism. That's not what
Yeah,
necessarily what I say, but
I think it's related, and even if it's not related, it's related to something close to veganism, which is sentientism.
exactly.
But like I think it is related to veganism, if depending how we define veganism. If we see veganism as a logical extension of the idea of human rights, I think it is related completely. We're talking about like a right to self-defense, a right to idealize self-defense for these animals. I see it as
But
related.
in this sense, you can also say
Oh,
that
sorry, sorry, shit.
the
Yeah,
can you hear me
yeah,
or
yeah.
is
No,
everything
yeah. I activated Siri for some reason, but yeah, you can continue.
freaking Siri?
I'm not talking to
I
you, Siri.
yeah. In this sense, I also believe that the animals that are predators also have rights, right? So, and
Likewise,
I
yeah.
don't believe that necessarily they're acting in bad intent when they want to eat an animal. So that's where I
Of
think it
course not.
becomes yeah, and that's when I think it becomes a bit blurry and a bit muddy in this area. And I think that vegan, like, because I told you that I'm in a sense I'm utilitarian with rules. So I believe that for me, in my head, maybe it's not true, but in my head, the way I see veganism is it's one of the rules where we need to extend animal rights. But then obviously in this case, we extend rights to both animals, but somehow this is a scenario which kind of I think falls below veganism. It's a bit outside of veganism. It's a bit of a edge case scenario where
Yeah,
you kind
it
of have
really
to.
depends how you how do you personally define veganism? Do you take the vegan society definition, or what?
I would say yeah, that's probably the way I define it. Yeah, I mean, in a
Yeah, so
sense
it's like
that,
a
in a sense,
negative rights things. It's like extending animals a right to life, not to be exploited. Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
yeah. Then it would fall outside that definition, but it's still related in the sense that it has to do with rights, but instead of negative rights, it has to do with like another kind of rights, which is positive rights, which is a right to intervene, to help them out, something like that.
But I because even in a human context, I don't know if I would kill a human to save another human, knowing that that human will probably kill, right? Like if there's a killer, I don't know if I would for sure kill that killer. I would try to stop them with all my power, but I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that I cannot possibly kill a human being or an animal that would stop me from killing them. But for sure, I mean, unless it's in self-defense or unless I'm defending somebody else actively right there, maybe I could do that or I would do that. And I don't know if this is moral thinking in my head or if it's just purely instinct, or I don't know. I don't. It's hard to say, right? Because I believe that morally you can justify both of them. That's why it's such a complicated question, right? Like morally, you can say, yeah, well, but this animal doesn't know any better. They're doing what they're bred to do. And then morally, you can also say, yeah, but this other animal is also doing what they want to do, and they don't want to be killed because for food, right? So
Yeah.
so
But
it's
to be clear, because I'm still not like super clear where is it that we disagree, if there's like difference in values, or if you're just agnostic about it. Like in the case of the chupacabra that was about to kill the innocent human family, you would shoot the chupacabra in that case.
yeah. If it's about defending the family, yes, I would kill them.
It
Yeah.
was right in front of your eyes. Okay, but you
Yeah.
see a lion. It was about to kill a family of innocent gazelle. Would you shoot the lion?
It, same situation in all of these situations. If I could kill an animal, yes.
So yeah, it's the same situation, basically different
Yeah.
beings,
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
species.
Yeah.
You would
Yeah.
shoot
Yeah.
you would shoot the lion there.
Yeah. But if you ask me, if a lion is killing one gazelle or if a lion is killing one human being, I would intervene in the human being probably, but I don't know if I would intervene in the gazelle.
Oh, okay.
So
So if the chupacabra was about to kill just one human, you would kill it. But
most
if
likely, yes.
okay, but if the lion was about to kill one gazelle, you wouldn't kill it.
That's where I don't think I would. Yeah.
That's where I sense a little bit of speciesism, and then what I would
Yeah.
ask you is to name the trait. Like, what's true of the animal that if it was true of the human would make you have that different that same attitude. Like, I don't see a difference,
Yeah.
man.
There is no difference. Indeed, there is no difference. I think it's just the way. Actually, there is a difference. Let me tell you what the difference is. We and that's why I brought up the scale, the value scale, right? If there's a value scale, then there's in this whole action, there where there's this individual A trying to attack individual B, right? And you're faced with a shotgun. Which one would you save? I would save the individual that has more value. That's kind of how I would put it, right? So if for me individual B has more value, then I would save the individual B. So it's a utilitarian view in this sense.
And
So a
how are
human
you cashing out value when you say has more value? What do you mean? Is this human being more sentient? Is this human being like a better person? Can like contribute to like can increase well being to a greater degree? Like, are those the sort of things that you're considering?
I would say more value means more sentience. Yes.
More sentience. Okay.
Yeah. So in a sense where if you're capable, if you're more capable
You're a
of experience,
sentientist, like me.
I'm a sentientist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I am. Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know all the definitions, but that kind of just is the one thing that makes sense in my head right now to explain it, right? So it's
Yeah, but the thing is, like, then are you saying that if we equalize the two cases, let's say the human had the same amount of value in the way you define value, has the same amount of sentience as the gazelle, you would let the chupacabra rip that human apart before your own eyes? You wouldn't do anything to stop it?
in a situation where
Mentally
that
disabled human. Mentally disabled.
yeah, fuck me, that's a difficult question.
That's a hard reductio, right?
Yeah, it's a very it's oh shit, that's a difficult question. I mean, fuck, I don't know. I honestly I
So
am
you would be
I am
agnostic. You would be agnostic about whether or not it would be a good thing to shoot the chupacabra to save a mentally disabled human from being eaten alive.
no, I mean, the thing is, we do have, because like let's just separate two things right here, and I'll answer them, right?
Sure.
Okay, are we talking about what I think is moral or what I would do? Because the reality,
Why you think it's
they're
moral?
two different
Why you
things.
think it's moral? Yeah, we're
Okay,
discussing
because-
ethics here.
Okay, because what I would do is I would 100% save the human being. Let's just put it this way, right? I would 100% save them, and the reason for that, I believe that it's my biological instinct to save beings that kind of look more like me. I think it's also why I believe in why racism is a whole thing, because when people look slightly different than you, you start to isolate them. And
Yeah, but then we're gonna get like a carness level reductio here. So let's say didn't look anything like you, but had a mind identical to a mentally disabled person that you would care about. Different body, complete different body. The chupacabra was about to rip it apart. would you shoot the chupacabra, or would you be consistent and not shoot the chupacabra?
Probably I would not shoot the chupacabra in that case. No.
Okay. Yeah,
That
then
that, that
I would take that as a reductio to your view, because I see that as like being like species is maybe, or like having a shell morality. You're assigning value to a being just because how it looks, instead of how that being is, like intrinsically, the level of
but let me
sentience.
say, so this is what I would do. It's not what I would consider moral, right?
Yeah,
So
no.
okay, so this is what I would do, because I believe if I put myself in that situation, that's kind of how I would see it. Obviously, in that situation I may do something else. I don't know, it's a weird situation. But what I consider moral in that situation is not intervene. Yes, and in a situation where a chupacabra is attacking even a person that looks like a human being, and they're equal in sentience to an animal, then yes, the moral thing, I believe, is to not intervene. Yes. And but there's also, of course, because there's also because at the end of it, you kind of want to reduce suffering, right? So there's also the question of, is this human being part of a family that would increase the level of suffering, right? Because losing a person you love is already increasingly more suffering for humans than it is for animals, I believe, because we have higher sentience. So in that sense, I believe it would still, like, if that human being was isolated, not with a family, not with anything, like
Yeah.
it's kind of like how I would think of an animal. Then,
Yeah.
well, animals do have families, but I mean, like, it's kind of how I would see them, as they don't necessarily bring a lot of suffering to anybody else, but rather just like a temporary suffering and then move on, not the whole life of suffering. Then yeah, maybe I would just not intervene in the same not I would think it's not moral to intervene.
Yeah, that's a consistent position. I just think it's a little insane. Like, if there was like a trade equalized human that, uh, the killing of this human would provide the same level of extrinsic suffering as a herbivore. Like, no family members are gonna suffer. It's in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere. Like, I would think it's a good thing to save that human. Like, in the same way I would think it's a good thing to save the gazelle. So I think that we just might reach a fundamental value difference here. But you have a consistent position. I just think it
Yeah.
would be a good thing to intervene. In both cases, you don't think it's a good thing to intervene. And
I believe that intent will matter in all of it, right? So, and with all of these examples, we placed an animal that doesn't have bad intent, so that's attacking, right? So an animal, or even a human being that doesn't know any better and it's attacking, right? All of this to me just says there's no bad intent there of that person committing that action, right? So I wouldn't say the action is in itself immoral, because that person wasn't committing the action, right? So then myself introducing myself in that whole system and trying to kill the person who, or the individual who's doing this action, and is not necessarily doing something immoral by their own logic or whatever, that I consider that to be immoral, if you ask me, because again, I'm intervening. If the value is the same, again, I'm intervening, and I'm choosing, I'm making the decision. So I'm the one making the immoral action. I believe my action of killing that predator would be immoral, because that predator doesn't do any moral action. They're just trying to survive, and the prey isn't. You see what I mean? Like, all of this, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean, again, repeating that's what I would do, but it's what I think is moral or immoral.
yeah, I see what you mean, but I disagree. I think, even if the being in question is not a moral agent, it's still violating the right to life of another being. So I think it's a good thing to protect that innocent being's right to life, even if both beings are sentient. Are innocent. One of
Yeah.
them is violating the right of life of the other, and I think it's a
But
good thing to intervene. Like, like you would even have that same attitude in, like, let's say there were two intellectually disabled humans in the middle of nowhere in the forest. One was about to hack into pieces the other one. Both of them were non-moral agents. They, in their mind, they were doing a good thing. You would see that situation of a mentally disabled human being hack another one into pieces, and you wouldn't intervene because you don't want to, like, impose your values into a non-moral agent or something.
let's just put it straight. I would intervene. I would intervene in a lot of these situations. But what I'm
Okay,
trying to
yeah,
say
yeah,
is
exactly,
the
exactly.
moral
You
thing.
sorry, sorry,
I
sorry,
want to
sorry.
clarify
You
that.
you would
just
you
to-
would intervene, but you wouldn't see it as ethical.
I wouldn't see it as ethical. No, I believe that me intervening wouldn't be the ethical thing. It would be an emotional thing for me to see, right? Because a person is being attacked and then I'm emotionally reacting to it. I'm like, I don't want this person to be attacked, right? So then I would stop the attack itself. But if you think about it ethically, it's A versus B. And in the case of the lion, let's say killing a gazelle, right? Lion killing a gazelle is, if the lion would die, if they don't eat the gazelle, you're still choosing between two deaths, right? You're still like, you would say, you see what
Not
I mean?
really,
Like,
because
why?
that one lion is not gonna kill just one with gazelle. If it kills just one gazelle, it's gonna survive for a little longer. In reality, it's gonna kill countless gazelles. Who knows how many?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. It's yeah, but then
Yes,
then
it's in the purpose of shooting the other predator would be to prevent a greater number of rights violation. You could still call it a rights violation to kill the non-agential innocent lion, but you're gonna do it in the interest of protecting a greater number of rights violations of many innocent animals being eaten alive.
so yeah, I believe that in these situations it's because it can become very murky when we start discussing the future, right? So if you're in that situation and you see that particular situation, you can justify whether something is moral or immoral. But then if you start questioning the future of it, I believe it's becoming really murky, and then you kind of have to become a hardcore utilitarian to say that, as you said, right, a lion will kill more beings, so therefore killing a lion is justified, and that's kind of a utilitarian view, right?
No, I wouldn't say it's a utilitarian view. Obviously, like what I'm doing it for to prevent rights violation. So it's a deontology thing. I think beings have the right to self-defense, to protect their lives. So it is a right. It is a rights-based thing. That what I'm considering. It's not a utility thing. It's not about preventing suffering, although that does matter in my system. But the important thing is to like protect the right to life of these innocent animals. So it's not a utilitarian thing.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, it's I believe in the situation where you heard there, we kind of agree. We're kind of on the same view, maybe slightly here and there. We slightly disagree on that one. But with the situation when you say that, I do understand your point of view that you choose to kill the lion because you think that the lion will kill more. And I choose to not intervene because I believe it's a situation where nobody has done something moral or immoral. Again, all of this is which one is moral, which one is immoral. So I don't know. I'm sure there is also. I'm trying to think of a hypothetical in my head where to extrapolate your lion thing, but all that comes to mind is like people. Let's say okay, let me extrapolate this now, right? Well, where you said like, would you kill a person who you know is not ever going to be vegan? A person who is, they're going to kill millions of animals, like millions, okay, I'm sorry, thousands of animals during their lifetime, maybe hundreds of thousands. And let me rephrase it. What do you think it's moral to do that?
Yeah, so that's gonna as I told you before, there's gonna be symmetry breakers in the human context. So I wouldn't think it's moral because somebody doing that, like let's say a vegan was doing that, like it's gonna put a bad name to vegan. It's gonna be labeled a terrorist. They're gonna land in prison and not be able to do further activism. And we're gonna probably legislate against that person in the near future. So we're gonna force them to be vegan. So those symmetry breakers, I think, are enough to make it an immoral action. But would it be ethical in a vacuum? Let's say the consequences were
in a
good.
vacuum,
like, let's say nobody ever found out, and you just saved thousands of animals. You're talking about saving the lives of thousands of innocent animals. Yeah, obviously it would be a good thing. But
yeah,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not something you would do.
I wouldn't advocate for vegans to shoot humans.
No, 100%. No, I think we're on the same page on that one. I think it's just about discussing which one would, because the reality is, it's not the morality. Like we all try to do the best. That's more the most moral thing. But in edge case situations, right? Like let me ask you, if you're on a deserted island with an animal, right? The whole deserted island question, right? You were on a deserted island with two animals, and you're about to starve. Would you kill an animal or would you let yourself die?
Yeah, like I get that as question asked all the time. I don't see it as morally justified to kill an innocent animal for my own benefit. I would choose to starve that. That would be the ethic. Like again, this is gonna be a distinction
Yeah,
between
yeah,
what the ethical thing is. What would I actually do in a situation where I'm starving,
yeah.
going insane? Like like I'm like a whole different state of consciousness. Who knows what I would do? But it would
100%.
be
It's about
it
what the
would be
ethical is.
unethical.
Yeah,
It would be an
yeah,
unethical thing to just murder an innocent animal, in my view.
yeah. Obviously, I mean, it's obviously the whole thing about it is it's because I also don't know, like when I get asked this deserted island question, I also don't know what to say. I'm like, if I could kill an animal, maybe, but I don't think I could kill an animal. So I don't know.
So
Like
you would say that it would maybe be a good thing
I
to just
don't.
stab an innocent herbivore to death for your own benefit?
Ethically speaking, no. I don't think morally or ethically speaking it would be
Okay.
like ethically speaking. I think I should die. The reality is, I don't think I would do that. That's the thing. I don't think I would be ethical in those situations.
Okay, so you agree it wouldn't be ethical, and
Yeah,
and presumably if you were in an island alone with a mentally disabled human, presumably you wouldn't stab it to death because of the looks like you kind of thing, right?
That's kind of how I justify it in my head, right? I don't know if it's just society ingrained that humans value more, or like a human supremacy thing that I've been born with, and it just remained lingered in my
Yeah, who
head or
knows?
something.
Yeah, who knows? It
Yeah, who
might be
knows
a
why?
genetic thing, might be a social thing. Who knows? Yeah.
I don't know exactly why I would do what I would do, but I can judge the morality of it, and I can say, morally speaking, if they're both equal in value, like equal sentience and all that, I would think not intervening is the moral thing to do, like as an external agent.
Okay, so I think that we mostly agree, and you already are in the camp that at least in some situations it would be ethical to shoot predators to save prey animals. Like in the case where it was about to happen in front of your own eyes, that a lion was gonna kill a whole family of gazelle, you would see it as morally justified to kill it, to
Yeah,
kill the
yeah, yeah.
being.
I think
So
so.
so
Yeah,
yeah, so you already are in the camp of it is sometimes morally justified to kill other predators. Maybe a lot of vegans are gonna be at odds with you there, not because it doesn't extend logically from their values, just because they're like maybe they're ideological about it, and they don't like, they don't want to reflect on this. They don't want to reflect on how animals are not different enough from us not to deserve a right to self-defense. But you already are on the camp of it. It's okay sometimes. So welcome to the dark side of calling other predators.
the reality is the reality is that because I think, like, just to curb this whole veganism thing debate, and to not have people like coming down on us and saying, hey, listen, you're not vegan, whatever, all this stuff, which it can rile up people up. I don't know about you. I don't know if I would intervene. I'm just strictly talking about the morality of it, right?
Sure.
Because again, in this whole situation, I don't think I'd be capable of killing an animal to begin with. So I would feel bad about it.
Yeah,
I would
we
know it's
agree on the
probably,
ethics. We agree on the
yeah,
ethics. Like
yeah.
we
It's
could
the
always
ethics
say,
of it.
we could always throw that into the hypothetical and say, like, it is a good thing to save a drowning child from a pond,
Yeah.
but maybe I'm in shock and I can't do anything or something. Like, but the ethical thing would be to get your shoes wet and save the child. Like we agree on the ethics then.
Yeah.
Can you
At
guys
least in
hear me,
some
by the way?
situations. Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear.
I've been trying to, like, when I have my earphones, I guess I was not being able to be heard. I don't know why.
Oh, we can hear you
I
very
mean,
nicely now. Yeah.
now I took them off. Let me see.
But then the question is also, like, ethically speaking, would it be ethical to save because I saw Carrie saying something about she says that, oh, I see it here
Can
now.
you
I
still
said,
hear me?
yeah, we
I'm
can hear
listening.
you.
I'm gonna go look for more water, but I'm listening.
Okay. I see Carrie saying that she would rescue
Can you still
beetles,
hear
and
me or
sometimes
not?
yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. So I was talking
Okay.
like earlier. I was trying to ask if you could hear me, but you couldn't. Now you can, I guess.
Yeah, now we can. Yeah. So Carrie was saying that she would rescue beetles and sometimes rescue them from daddy longlegs, which is, I guess, the spider. And she says that the daddy longlegs will get a different bug while I'm not there, right? And
Yeah.
again, it's this whole thing, not what would you do, because what would you do is something totally different, right? We're also kind of emotional and all of that. But the question is, do you think it's ethical to intervene and to not let a fly go into a spider's web because a spider is theoretically a predator in that case?
Mhm.
Would I
Yeah,
think
like-
it's okay to? Of course.
Yeah. So would you let the spiders? Would you kill a spider to save any flies that would otherwise go into their spider's web?
Yeah, so it would be a question of whether the spider is odd order or even order. So I'm agnostic, but assuming it is an odd order predator, I would kill it to save the whatever innocent.
Yeah.
Uh,
But so here's the
Innocent.
question: when you're assuming, I don't know, like, imagine, I don't know if we're like trying to imagine you make a mistake and you kill someone that was not odd order that we shouldn't have killed, or
yeah, it would be
I don't
a
know,
Yeah.
like
wrong thing.
assuming,
I'm
like
in favor
in
of
the
killing.
sense of assuming.
Yeah, I'm
Because
in favor of
imagine,
killing
imagine you,
predators.
imagine. No, but imagine
It's
you
the lag
assume
thing.
a
The lag,
human.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but we were like talking here and like, but imagine assuming that a human is a murderer and you killed them and that was an innocent, like, or in the case of odd orders or not odd orders, I don't know how that, like, is it good to assume this is an animal that we should kill, like the odd order one, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
to
Like,
assume.
imagine
to
we do
assume-
the wrong thing by
I
assuming.
understand your question. So
don't
to
know.
assume,
Yeah.
it would probably be a bad thing to just assume.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
completely
So
agree with that.
in this
Yeah.
case, would it be
It is
better to
empirical,
not do
but
it?
it is an empirical question, and in some cases, it is clear who's an even order or odd order predator. In the cases where it is clear, it is not a bad thing. But if
Yeah.
you're just assuming and you're like killing like tuna fish because you think they're odd order, I think that's completely a bad thing, because they might turn out to not be odd order, and it might be a bad thing to kill them. So that's why I don't advocate for intervening in like complicated marine ecosystems for the most part, because you never know.
And I
Yeah.
had a question here
No.
from Lodovike, who's by the way the friend that I've been talking to, and he's a very very smart person. Also, I always have these high philosophical questions with him, and he said, "So we ought to go into nature and stop carnivores now." And I just want to make it clear that we are not advocating that we do this, and I think Ari and Jigger are also on the same page as I am. That we're not saying we should do this; we're just discussing whether morally what is the moral thing to do in these situations. Doesn't mean we will get to do this, or we will, like, again, I think, like, to some extent we should put morality first, but in situations like these edge cases, if you ask me, and maybe Ari, you can clarify, and so can you, Jigger, on this one. Like, I believe in these edge cases, morality, we can discuss it, but in these edge cases, the decisions that we make may not be the moral ones, strictly because there are these edge cases. So
Sure, like in the moral gray areas, like it's unclear what's the good thing, but I think there's some clear cases of like odd order predation, which is good. Like I don't really understand the question. Like I don't know if he's asking it by odd. I don't know if he means it's a moral obligation to go and do it. Like I don't think
I
that it's a
think so,
moral
yeah.
obligation. I think it's a good thing or a morally justified thing to, like for example, like the question I asked you earlier, if we had a choice between allowing predation to continue eternally or somehow intervening and ending predation in the distant future, like herbivorizing and veganizing the whole planet, that would obviously be a good thing. So that answers the question that yes, like long term, obviously the most pressing thing right now is to persuade humanity to go vegan. But yes, like we should, in the meantime, we should think about one of the most horrible sources of rights violation and suffering in the entire planet, which is predation. Of course, we should think about that.
Yeah, and can I say something quick?
Yeah, I don't think it's a moral obligation, if that's the question. Like I don't take a view on that, but I think it's morally justified or morally good.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking. It's not a moral obligation. That's a very well put. Yeah, go
Yeah.
on,
So
go on, go on.
I want to say, like, because there's some people that are asking, "Oh, you're trying to get me to be vegan, but lions eat animals, so try telling a lion to go vegan." Like, maybe we cannot do that now, but if we could, maybe we should. Maybe the lions, if there's a way for lions to survive without eating animals, maybe whether it's because I'm not sure really all animals really require muscles to live, like, or do all animals
They need the
require
nutrients. They
nutrients,
need the nutrients. Yeah.
protein, calcium, all that? Is that
Digestible nutrients.
animal agriculture propaganda that even like tries to make people believe that even lions are like obligate carnivores? Is that a lie? Like, if we try to feed them like high protein, high nutrient dense, they will still die because it's not from a muscle of an animal. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
man,
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Like,
No,
maybe that could be a lie. That might be a lie. And if
yeah,
there's a
I
way
think
to feed
what
lions and carnivore
exactly. Yeah,
animals,
so what
yeah,
biologists mean typically by what I think biologists mean by obligate carnivores, like what
lab grown gazelle, yeah.
they can only digest like animal products out in the wild. But if we find a way to like create like formulated cat food for lions or lab grown gazelle, like this guy's mentioning, that would be the obviously. I don't see a contradiction there. Like I don't see why it wouldn't be possible to veganize lions.
yeah, and I also believe that like I think we reached a natural conclusion to this whole predators thing. I don't think we need to discuss it too much. It's an edge case. It's I don't know. I feel like with veganism, like amongst us, just to be clear, if there's any non-vegans out there who will watch this or are watching right now, who knows? Just be clear. We're talking hypotheticals here, but not real life scenarios or that even apply to real life hypotheticals, right? We're just testing moral situations, what not necessarily again what we would do in those situations, but rather what we would consider moral or immoral, right? The reality is that veganism, you can try and think of these edge cases, but you can't use these edge cases to justify your actions. I can't justify killing lions, like if I like in this situation where I think let's say I would think it's moral to kill a lion to save a gazelle. Let's just assume that I would think that. I can't justify killing lions right now and eating their flesh just because I think it's a moral action to do that in a particular edge case scenario, right? And I think this is where we all agree on this one, right?
No, I think it's a good thing to go out and intervene right now.
You
In
think it's a
cases
good thing
where
to go?
sure, in cases where it's clear that the predator's out of order and there's like enough uh like there's no reason to assume the ecological externalities are gonna be horrific or something. I think it's a good thing. Of course, like if I was that innocent gazelle about to be eaten alive, I would prefer somebody kills the lion. So I think it's a good thing to go out and kill lions right now. Obviously, like I think like ending animal agriculture is the most pressing issue right now. But I think spreading these memes about herbivorizing nature or ending predation, I think is extremely important to talk about. Like if we had a choice between keeping silent and never discussing these issues and letting prey animals horrifically get a rip apart for all eternity, or talking about it and spreading these memes and somewhere along the line doing something about it. Obviously, the right thing is to spread the memes, uh, and yeah, like I think it would be justified to kill all other predators. Yeah.
I feel like for me, my position is I kind of agree with Carrie. If I see it, I maybe intervene, but in principle, I would also stay out of it. And the reason for
Hey,
this
so
is because
Carrie agrees with me in those in the Carrie hates me. She stormed off out of my channel, like but it seems like we agree.
in some form or another, I believe uh, like so when if you're in that situation and that situation is in front of you, I think most of us kind of agree, or we're very close to our views, close enough that we don't have to get upset with one another. Let's just put it this way.
I think you personally, Cyprian, I think you have an unconventional view when you would like not shoot the chupacabra that's running around that you knew fairly certain like if with a high degree of certainty was gonna kill humans. I think most people would shoot the chupacabra. I think you have an unconventional view there.
But the reason why I have this view is because you see, if you're in that situation, you can intervene or don't not intervene, and we've already discussed this. But if you say let's go out in the wild and do this, I do not agree with that. And the reason why I don't agree with that, or like if I see a chupacabra, as you said, walking alone and me killing them because that would potentially save other human beings, I would disagree.
Not only
I would
potentially,
disagree.
not only potentially, but like pretty likely. like we
Pretty likely, yeah,
very
yeah,
likely,
it's
extremely likely.
extremely likely, yes. Well, again, the situation is if I would find it moral, because again, I wouldn't be able to shoot that animal. But like, if I would find it moral to do so,
Yeah, that's the question.
that's no, I don't believe it is, because I don't think so. I don't think morality should be judged as a I don't know, as a potential action. I think when we start judging potential actions, it can become extremely murky and it can become extremely difficult. So I believe that morality should be judged in situations where we're 100% sure that this is A or B. Otherwise, we create a false equivalence where we say, or false dichotomy, sorry, right? I think it's the same. I don't know. Where we say the only solution is to kill this animal, but maybe another solution would be to, and I don't know, capture them. I mean, like, if you ask me what I
Yeah, to be
would do
clear,
in your
that's not my position. To be
yeah,
clear, I think the only pragmatic solution right now, because who's gonna like separate these animals and feed them lab grown meat, like unless somebody wants to start doing that. But I'm saying the only pragmatic like way to solve it right now. But in the long term, I'm all for thinking about strategies to herbivorize nature without killing anybody.
yeah, and maybe a form of isolating animals from one another, right? Like
Yes.
isolating predators and giving them meat is a good form, right? But up until right now, because what you said in your statement was that I would go right now and do this. I wouldn't do this right now because there's
Not
so many
personally, because
unknown.
I don't, unless like there's predators in my apartment or something, but like I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
there's
yeah.
predators in Puerto Rico. Like
No, no, but like, let's say if you had the opportunity to you were president of a country, you were an authoritarian, you have this totalitarian, you
Mhm,
have this whole army at your dispense, and you had these
mhm.
predator animals. Would you go and kill these animals?
Oh yeah, I think I would. Yeah.
And that's where we disagree, right? Because I believe
And
that
I
it's
think
not.
I think that's what the prey animals would prefer us to do, to spare like spare them from being horrifically eaten alive. And that's what I have in mind. I have the victims in mind first.
And the I mean, in a sense, I agree with you, but I believe that they're not victims until they're victims. That's my point, right? So I believe when we give them a label that they will be victims, I believe that's where we make a mistake, sort of, right? So
We don't see anything, my friend.
stop eating animals. I can't read the rest. Stop. It's blurry though. It's not the size that.
Read it, bro.
Stop eating animals. Ah, sorry. It just says I was signing in sign language. Stop eating animals. ASL. So this is stop eating animals.
And that we
That's a
agree,
good
man.
one.
Stop
Yeah.
holocausting animals.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that one.
And then Holocaust would be like animal Holocaust. ANIMAL. That's animal. And then HOLOCAUST. Animal Holocaust. Yeah, I took
Yeah, but
two basic ASL courses
yeah, but
back in
obviously,
2019.
like Cyprian, I obviously it's gonna be an empirical question, but I think most people would disagree with you in calling it unethical to shoot like a natural predator of humans that's running around like the chupacabra.
I mean, I'm sure. I believe. I mean, because like when I think about killing all the predators, I have so many issues with that. Not just ethical issues of killing the predators themselves, but ethical issues of, as I said, destabilizing
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
ecosystem,
By the way,
which we as
sure, sure.
humans don't really understand well enough. If
Yeah,
what's
sure.
going to happen, right?
Yeah, sure. So that's why I'm not like in favor of wiping out all predators like all at once or anything. I'm in favor of killing some, at least all other predators. In the meantime, until we get the technology to end predation somehow. But yeah, I don't think we disagree
But
there.
then see, you are not the one who is being morally consistent, right? Because how would you choose which predators you kill then, and why would you choose some and not the others, right? Like what will get you, because you said you will only kill some of them, right? But then that's not consistent, because then the other remaining may still kill the prey, right? So why would kill some of them and not all of them?
Yeah, by some of them I mean like cases where it's clear as an odd order predator that eats herbivores. And like for example, not wipe out the entire species unless there's uh some reason to believe it's not gonna cause ecological negative ecological externalities downstream. So yeah, it would be to kill other. Obviously, I'm not gonna be in favor of killing even other predators right now because they kill predators. So they're doing the job for me of killing predators. By killing the predator, I'm maximizing rights violations. I'm causing more herbivores to be eaten alive by killing the even other predators. Yeah.
But even because the even other predators, it makes sense in a let's say in a vacuum, but in a complex ecosystem, it might be that, for example, you kill one predator, like you completely wipe them out so that their prey can reproduce, then that prey reproduces, and because they continue to reproduce, because that's sort of what happens sometimes in ecosystems, right, where the animal continues to reproduce, then maybe another species suffers because of that. It has nothing to do with them necessarily praying for another, but rather both species fighting for the same resource, not necessarily that they both eat each other, right? Because then how would you justify that? Like, if those two species fight for the same resource, would you kill one of the species to save another? Like, you see what I mean? Like,
Wait, what
that's when it
species?
becomes,
What species are you asking me in this
like, let's say
hypothetical?
you lions and gazelle, right? Let's say there's lions. Would you kill the lions to save the gazelles? But then you found out that gazelles, I honestly don't have enough knowledge about zoology or animals, but let's say there's another animal who eats the same things that gazelles eat, right? But then if you kill all the lions, who will not keep the gazelles in place, gazelles will multiply, and then they will multiply so much that it will consume all the resources that the other species will eat, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's always possible. There's like unaccounted ecological externalities that are beyond we never considered it or something like that. But I'm just trying to be consistent and like in the human context, like where like the thing is, there's no reason to believe those externalities that you're talking about are going to happen. Like there's no reason to believe that, like even in the human context, like I wouldn't like if there was like some uncertainty about the externalities. Maybe if I shoot the chupacabras, more humans reproduce, and then like another species suffers because of it. Like I would still like I wouldn't be comfortable letting the chupacabra be part of human. I would still
But
kill it.
you're already introducing externalities into this whole system, because in your whole morality, because you said one odd out, one, like, only the odd animals, right? Or only the even animals, like, as you said, right? So that means you're already introducing a rule of externality, because you say, well, this kills the other, but then what if, because in a ecosystem, it's like people say it's a food chain, but it's not direct. It's a food web, right? Where this eats this goes this, these people share resources with that, right? So it, it's anyway impossible to say which one is the odd one out, right? So you would anyway at some point have to make some form of a calculation, like which, because the goal, and I understand your goal in mind, is that no animal attacks another animal, right? That's the goal in mind. But you, in order to achieve that, you would still have to make these calculations and do these externalities. So by that sense, I would not approach this, and ever myself, I would never go, because I don't think I think it's impossible for us to have these calculations right now. And I would never advocate for that. If at some point we have a advanced enough computer that would calculate that we would be saving more lives by killing this, that's a different scenario, but I still don't know if I would go there. But like, let's just put it today, because that's why I asked you today. Would you go today if you were in this situation where would you go and kill all the odd predators, as you said it, right?
And by would you do it, are you asking me if I have a positive attitude towards it? If I think if it's
yeah, would you think it's moral?
Justified thing? Yes, I think it's moral.
Yeah, you think
and the thing is, obviously, we can always dream out like negative ecological externalities or something like that. That there's always gonna be like a certain element of agnosticism of like what's gonna happen downstream. But I'm just advocating for us to be consistent about it, not like to not be speciesist, like to do the same thing we would do in a human context. Like if you would feel uncomfortable letting a chupacabra around killing humans, you would shoot it. I just don't see any difference between the chupacabra killing the human or a lion killing the gazelle. I'm just advocating for us to be consistent and give humans and animals like equal application of rights to like protect their right to life to the same degree.
Yeah, I understand that. I completely understand that. I guess the only issue I find with all of this is that it's an overly simplistic view of the way we can accomplish what we both want. And I agree that we both, and I think all vegans will ask, because I think this is where we all agree, is that we all want no animals to die needlessly as food, regardless if they're prey to us or prey to any other animal, right? And the question becomes, should we intervene in all of this and make it in a certain sense, right? And I believe that this is completely opposite to what we as humans do, because we as humans are out of the ecosystems, right? We're creating animals, we're eating them, all of this. We created systems that are completely outside of ecosystems. But within ecosystems, I don't know how to achieve this. And your solution is to kill the odd predators out, but I don't necessarily think that will accomplish that task. That is my point, right? So
that's an empirical question that we just don't know. So
exactly,
because you say it's a simplistic solution. I disagree. I think like I've been thinking about these positions for a long time, since like Dr. Avi first proposed it. Like he was chatting about it with Vegan Gains. He convinced Vegan Gains about the view. He convinced me when I watched that conversation, and I've thought about it for a long time. Like I and it was unintuitive to me at first. Like at first I was also trying to defend the lions in my head, but I haven't been able to find a stable and consistent position that wouldn't entail like very horrific like reductives for me. Like your view, for example, that you would be okay with like letting like a machete wielding mentally disabled person hack another mentally disabled person into pieces, and you would say it's immoral to intervene. Like those are the sorts of the sorts of reductives that are entailed by your view. Like I'm not comfortable with that. Like obviously I'm open about it. Like I'm open to finding to dropping this view if I find a more stable, more consistent position with a less amount of reductives. I'm not dogmatic about it. I'm happy to change my mind. I'm just haven't been able to find a more stable view.
And what is a reductio? I'm sorry, I don't know what a reductio is.
A reductio is just a proposition that if denied creates a contradiction.
If denied, it creates a contradiction. I see what you mean. But does it create a contradiction? Because I don't think there's any contradiction in what I said, right? I believe that we can only judge morality based on actions. First of all, I don't believe systems can be moral or immoral. So I think when we start discussing systems of whether a system is moral or immoral, we get into utilitarianism. That's all it is, right? So when we discuss an action, whether an action is moral or immoral, and in the situation that you just posed right now, whether a mentally disabled person is attacking another mentally disabled person, right? And the point of all of this is that they're both equal in sentience, and they're both equal in sentience to animals. For some reason, we created the scenario. And would I intervene in that situation? Yes, I would. Would that be the moral thing to do? I don't think it would be the moral thing to do. That's my point. And yeah, I know I'm I'm obviously a moral agent, and sometimes I will be immoral and I behave differently. But I would think I behave differently because of instinct more than anything. Like it would be my instinct to try to protect that person. But then logically, because if we think about morals and logic, I believe that logically thinking, in this situation where you have a person that's the same sentience level as killing the other person, I'm not sure if it's at actually, like, because you don't know what the situation is, right? Like let me just pose in this situation, you don't know that the other person wasn't attacking that person before that, and they somehow got the upper hand. You see what I mean? Like maybe the person, like when you get into that situation, maybe the person that you see as attacking is actually the person that's defending themselves. So you don't know what the intent is in that situation. So you intervening in that situation may actually be immoral, the way I see it.
Wait. But by the way, to be clear on what I mean by a contradiction, in formal logic, contradiction just means like a proposition in conjunction with its negation. So saying something like it is raining and it is not raining, the contradiction that would be entailed by your view if you denied the proposition would, like, when I asked you like what's the morally significant difference that justifies like saving a human, like what makes it ethical to save the human and not the animal, you said like the degree of sentience or the degree of moral agency. If I were to ask you, then would it be ethical to save the machete wielding mentally disabled person to save the other? You said no, and you were consistent about it. But if you were to say yes, then that would create a contradiction. You would say that the morally significant difference is sentience, but it is not sentient. And in the case of AJ, like he said the trait is species. So he said like it would be ethical to let the chupacabra rip apart a Neanderthal family, or you could use schmumans, like ask yourself, call it like a set of beings that were equal to you except in species. You couldn't interbreed with them. They were equal to you in any way. He would be against saving them, and that's consistent. But if he were to say no, that would create a contradiction. He would say the distinction is species and it is not species. But so he is consistent and you are consistent as well. I just think you're biting bullets. You're saying something that most people upon hearing that are gonna think is a little insane. But that's an empirical question. That's my take on it.
So I mean, there's obviously some factor towards that, right? But I don't like, again, because that's why I always prefix with I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would do it. That's my way of saying that I'm not necessarily influenced by how others see me, right? Because that I am a bit influenced by how others see me, right? I don't know if that's what I would do. That's when I prefix it with this, it's me explaining that yes, I do care about how others see me in a sense, and I do not necessarily my own actions will obviously be judged in the moment. I will do the judgment right then and there and think, I don't know, make a decision right then and there, right? But if we're talking about external, like we're in this scenario where, because I think maybe it's better that we don't put ourselves in the third person that's in this situation, but rather there's somebody else in the third person and we're just observations. We're observing the whole situation, and we ask, is it moral for the third person to intervene in the situation, right? Because that's where what we're discussing, right? And
yeah, and for example, you said that it wouldn't be moral for a person.
I don't think it would be moral
to kill a mentally disabled person wielding an axe to kill another. I think that's a I think that's a bullet bite. I think it's obviously ethical to prevent this thing from happening.
But you don't know, if you don't know what the situation was before that, right? Then you are also not then it's a reductio for you, right? If you think about it, because you would always wanna, because that's the thing, right? Where we discuss about morals, we always want to save the person that doesn't have bad intent. Intent matters in all of this situation, right? But if you're presented, you're the third person, you become not the third person, you become observing this whole situation only when the point that somebody is maybe defending themselves, but you see them, when you see the situation,
sure. I agree with that. But that would be like adding extra baggage to the hypothetical. In the hypothetical, it was like a clear
Yeah.
clear cut case where somebody was violating somebody else's right. But of course, in reality, it's a little more muddy. There's gray areas and shit, and we agree on that.
Yeah. I think that's the whole thing about it. And in a clear case situation, yeah, I think that's where we disagree in a clear case situation, right? Where you say that they're attacking. I believe that, again, like, bad intent will matter also in that situation. If that person doesn't have bad intent, that, I don't know, it's like, I recently heard this podcast about free will, and there's this person, this doctor, who keeps saying there's no such thing as free will because our brains are just uh, they're deterministic in a sense, because the way they work, there's nothing, right? The
I'm
information that we
agnostic
get.
about it, but I lean towards that. I don't think there's free will.
So if there is no free will, then that means there is no bad intent. So then we have to ask ourselves. Oh,
No,
I'm sorry,
it
my
really
camera just.
it really depends on how you define bad. If by bad you just mean it has negative consequences or it creates rights violations, then it would be bad, regardless of whether like free will exists or not.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think we discussed it a lot, and I think we're now kind of end up going a bit in circles. So if you're okay with it, I would rather we move on from this topic.
Sure, man. Sure. Like this is your stream. Like I'm happy to talk about anything you want.
No. I mean, like, not necessarily in that sense. I believe that I think we differ in some situations.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We reached the natural conclusion of the debate. I
Exactly.
think we found differences in our values, and I think that's fine. And I think it happens sometimes.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of the attitude that I think we need to have in this whole thing, right? Towards amongst us vegans, because us disagreeing on a lot of stuff, we can disagree on a lot of stuff, but we all agree on the important fact about what happens to animals, and it's shit what happens to animals, and we need animals to have rights. And like, I find a lot of pleasure in discussing these topics, don't get me wrong, but they're complicated, they're complicated, they're muddy,
we still can't see you, by the way.
yeah, I'm putting the battery in right now.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, I hurt my toe.
Oh man, that sucks. That's why there's no benevolent, all-powerful God, man.
But in this situation, it's your fault, Ari, that I hurt my toe, because we had this discussion for a long time. See? So you.
Sorry, man. Sorry for violating your bodily autonomy.
Let me see. I may need to. I'll be right back. Give me a second.
No worries, man. But we absolutely agree on that. Animals deserve moral consideration, basic rights, and I think that's exactly why we're having this discussion, because there's some things that are entailed by that, and it's okay to disagree and to have different values. That happens. Morality is subjective, right? Oh shit, he's disconnected.
It's just you and me.
Let's see the chat. Let's see what people are saying here.
I mean, I cannot comment on the chat, but I can just see it.
Really convinced me it is the solution for change. I don't mean by extinction, but spreading genes to make comfortable vegan lifestyle positive for them. Is he talking about herbivorizing predators? If he is, I agree with that. Let's see. Humans are not carnivore food. We do not upset the natural carnivore cycle by saving a human. I don't know what he means by that.
Send him a link. He's the owner. He's the creator of the. Yeah, he's back.
There he is. People were missing in the audience, man. People were crying.
I also had to pee. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries, man.
That's very important.
Very
Gotta
important,
release that liquid.
So by the way, I saw somebody saying that I'm diplomatic. Yes, I am diplomatic with all of this, and I believe it's important that we are diplomatic amongst ourselves with this because we don't want to create divide in the
I
movement. I
appreciate that,
believe,
man. I really appreciate that.
yeah,
There's so many
I
people that
believe.
just get butthurt, call me an vegan, and then that's it. They're not willing to discuss. I don't like that
No,
attitude in the vegan movement, man.
trust, like I want to discuss this whole thing. I mean, I love finding out about myself. Like, as I said, I sometimes think maybe I am a bit speciesist. I don't know, like we're all have a little bit of blind side to a lot of issues, right? We're not perfect. That's the idea. None of us are perfect, and I don't think we should create any divide in this whole movement because we're already so few people in this movement, and if you count then the movement of activists alone, we're already yet even less people. So let's just all unite and all agree. We want to defend animals. We all want the same thing, including with the predators thing. I believe, as I said, we all want the same thing. We all want less animals to be eaten as prey. How we get there is where we disagree, right? And in a sense, I believe that we should focus more on what we have in common, reach a common goal, and yeah. If
honestly, I'm
Cheers,
just sad
cheers to that,
that.
man.
Honestly, I'm just sad that instead of like, we don't really have the alternative to not having to kill the predators. Like, if we had the
By the way, we
alternative to
already
actually
stopped
kill
talking about this
predators,
topic with you.
what's that?
Yeah, that
no, you can
Yeah, say your point.
say your,
Sorry.
yeah, say your point, Jigger. Say your point.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, if we could actually not kill the lion and like feed them non-sentient, I don't even know what would be, like, probably lab grown, or who knows if they could actually eat high protein plant foods and actually not real obligate carnivores. Like, that could be a lie, propaganda by animal agriculture. Who knows? Right.
And
But if it was the case that they're not really obligate, that would be horrible.
Wait, what?
yeah,
What
and
do you mean?
Oh wait, what was I saying?
I think what you were saying is that if if there's a situation where we can feed them without them being obligate carnivores, or we can find a solution for
Exactly.
them.
Like, if we could feed them
Yeah,
without
Maybe there. Even
eating
if they're obligate
other
carnivores,
animals.
there has to be a way around it. Even if it's
yeah,
altering their genes or something. I don't know.
exactly. That's what I was thinking as well. Like, what about altering the genes, right? Like, all of this is like,
Because I saw a comment saying that there has been like vegetarian lioness, that she refused to eat animals. Something, I don't know who said it in the comments, but she refused to eat animals because of maybe of a trauma from a child. I don't know.
yeah.
Like, when the lion was a baby. I'm saying. I mean.
And let's because there's been enough divide in this vegan community, my friends. We have so much divide, and carnists will always try to divide us, right? And we can discuss this topic longer. I love discussing this topic longer, even if I find out truths about myself that aren't always necessarily happy about them. What I want to say is that we have this common ground where we all agree on it, and maybe let's focus on that. Fuck this. And I don't know, because I already see some people in the chat getting a bit riled up. I don't want to get name calling or fuck that. Fuck this. We all want the same thing. We all agree on the same thing. And in these edge cases, we just kind of disagree on how we get them, how we fix them, and maybe we'll find a solution.
Man,
I think.
Cheers on that. I think we should unite, even if we disagree on edge
Exactly.
cases like this. It's not like veganism is about extending negative rights to animals, like abolishing animal agriculture. We all agree on that. There's no reason to further divide each other, man.
Yeah, and I believe we all believe in the, as you said, that animals should have rights to live, and yeah, we can think that they extend. As I said, it's just it's just a way of achieving that, right? Like, because maybe you think maybe some people believe it's practical to kill the predators. Maybe some people think it's, I don't know, like injecting them and changing their DNA so that they don't eat the prey anymore and then just crave other stuff. Like, I believe it's killing a predator. It's an ethical in some sense, in some situations, like we said. I believe also injecting them with DNA is also unethical in some sense, or some form or another. My point wasn't necessarily to restart a discussion, but rather that there's a lot of other solutions that may be on the fringe of ethics and morality of it, and we can agree to disagree on a lot of them, and in the end it's how we get there. Not in the end, it's getting there, not necessarily these edge cases on how we get there. Yeah, it's important that we discuss them so that we know our views, so that we have maintained these discussions like we did just now. But I think it's also important that we understand that this doesn't mean that I'm less of a vegan. This doesn't mean that Ari is less of a vegan. It doesn't mean that Jigger is less of a vegan.
Thanks for that.
It doesn't mean that any of us don't defend animals.
How would you know anyone is vegan? Sorry to interrupt you.
By looking at your beanie, man.
Let me no. Forget about my clothing. Forget about this. How do you know someone's vegan? Like, not necessarily. They will tell you. Don't worry. How do you know someone's vegan? Like, just you're gonna just like, this is a shoe, right? They're gonna assume that it's cow skin or baby cow skin, but no. Just look at the bottom.
Love it.
Look at the bottom.
Did you do that yourself, or was it?
They will show you their shoes, the bottom.
Yeah.
They will not tell you. You will read it.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we understand all of this, right? That I know we can throw hate at each other and we can disagree, but hey, let's unite. Let's love each other. I disagree with my parents, and unfortunately I have to. Well, I don't have to. I still love them, right? I disagree with a lot of people, and I still love them. But we unite in certain topics. I unite in certain topics. It's impossible that we all be equal and agree on all the topics. I think that's just the nature of how we are. So, yeah. But
I kind of agree with animals are here with us. I kind of agree with her. The carnists would be confused. They already are. When we talk about, like, I know it's consistent, but yeah, they still. It will be a long conversation for them to understand. So it's kind of like some will be like,
that's an empirical question. I don't think I agree.
I don't know.
You don't believe that?
I could be agnostic.
Obviously,
on that,
I think it's a separate conversation. If we're out doing our outreach, if we're out doing activism, I think we should keep it on the animal holocaust. We should keep it on you should stop paying for animal products. But if they ask you, man, if they're like a little combative, they're trying to debate you, and they ask you about these edge cases. They try to test your consistency and you refuse to answer. I think that's the wrong way to go about it, man.
I agree with that.
Better to have consistent position.
Here's the thing.
And to go go to wherever the truth leads you, without being afraid of I don't know, confusing somebody or like
100%. 100%. And if they bring these edge cases, go on, Jigger.
When these conversations like change to, we're gonna talk about wild animals, like predator animals, they're gonna try to change the topic on things that we don't really have like a quick alternative to that. But being vegan is something. No, but let me.
Yeah, but I don't think it's necessarily them changing the topic. I got your idea across. Like, I don't think it's necessarily. Maybe they're just trying to understand if our position makes sense. If it like they're trying to understand the logical entailments of our position. I think it's valid for them to ask whatever questions they want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, but I would preferably, in my opinion, like, because people, carnists, like non-vegans, will prefer keeping the conversation about lions eat meat. So they will forget about the animals that they eat so they can talk about the animals
No,
that the lion
obviously,
eat.
like if
So
they
it's
just
like,
wanna
oh,
if
I'm not
they
gonna.
just wanna commit like a
They're
red
gonna take
herring and change the topic completely, like obviously
yeah.
I
They always
wouldn't
want to change the
accept that.
topic, and
No, no.
so it's
And
like
I think
they're not gonna. They don't want to address their own actions and try to talk about the actions of others, of lions. Like, we should change ourselves first, and then we can deal with, like, maybe feeding lions lab grown meat. Like,
and I believe that when people ask me about lions, I nowadays just tell them, can I talk to lions? Can I reason with lions? What do you mean? Like, if I could talk to lions, yes, I would tell them to stop eating meat. Is that your question? Of
eating
course, if
animals,
they
honestly.
Exactly.
No.
Obviously, that would be the superior thing to persuade them if you could.
exactly,
Obviously,
exactly,
we
but
can try to persuade people. Yeah, and that's the
that's
thing.
that's also the whole thing, right? Like, in these situations when people bring up lions, I don't want to get into this like I got in with you guys, like with you, Ari, about it, right? I don't think something like this would even, because if a person doesn't understand the simple morality that animals are sentient and that they should have rights because of it, then I'm sure they're not going to understand these edge cases. So
Sure, man. Mostly when they bring the lions thing, they're just committing an appeal to nature fallacy. They're saying,
exactly,
lions do this, therefore it's okay for me to do it." They're obviously, and the thing to do wouldn't be to get into the predator topic. It would be
exactly.
to like respond to them saying that that's a logical fallacy, like not because something is natural is good, something like that.
And there are also different issues, aren't they, right? Because I feel like, if you ask me, crop deaths are bad, we should tackle crop deaths, right? But they're different. It's a different issue to what we to the animal agriculture issue, right? I believe that there is separate issues, and we can advocate. Each of us can advocate slightly more on one side, slightly more on the other, right? But I believe veganism, because that's what you asked me at first, was the definition of, as much as it's practical and you believe that animals shouldn't be exploited, abused, or slaughtered, like intentionally, and especially when it's not necessary. So I don't know, like, I don't think it's productive to engage in these conversations with carnivores, because, well, not just not productive, but I don't think it's necessarily good to feed them these edge cases where they I don't know, where they don't understand simple morality and they go for the complex one. That was the part
Obviously, if
already.
they don't even understand the simple morality things to tackle the simple morality, but it's an empirical question whether engaging in this would be a good thing or not. Like, I don't see a reason to. If they really just want to like understand your view better, like understand like this whole thing, like I don't see it necessarily a bad thing to engage.
No, like, I mean, I believe we should engage in conversations regarding every topic to the end, if you ask me. Like, I'm a person who likes to go to even the worst edge cases, like even go even further than this, because I feel
you're saying like where to put our energy to focus on the most pressing thing. I agree with there.
Yeah, like, because there's no like, I believe it's important for us, obviously, to know where our ethical beliefs stand and where our moral values stand, and in these situations to know kind of what we would do, how we would react, or what exactly makes it different than that, because we understand ourselves better by that. But in the situations that we talk to carnists and veganism and all this, it's like all these situations are far from the situations that they cannot comprehend or refuse to even think about. So would one of these carnists become vegan? Yeah, sure, I would have conversations with them afterwards regarding this. But before that, to have this conversation with a non-vegan person is just, it would seem to me like that person isn't intellectually honest, in a sense, right? Because you need to achieve a certain threshold to kind of discuss morality in these, again, I call them edge cases, maybe not necessarily edge cases, but they're definitely not the majority of the cases where, because if I was to accumulate the whole of actions that we do, and as I said, actions are moral or immoral, most of the actions that we do against animals are immoral, and they're not these edge cases, right? So, well, I think we should tackle the first of the whole actions that we do against animals that are immoral. So yeah. I'm losing my my thing, but we all agree on this. We all agree on this.
Hopefully there are no potential ex-vegans in the audience here.
And even if you're
how Jigger calls them.
Yeah, so even if you're an ex-vegan or an ex-plant-based person, maybe you can learn something from this discussion, but also learn that, again, we all agree on veganism. We all don't want to eat animals. We all don't want animals to be exploited. We all don't want animals to die as prey or for food. It's just a matter of how we do that and how we accomplish that. And yes, there's differences there, but the big things, the big picture, the animals in the animal agriculture, there's no nuances there. There's no nuance there, right? Because what we've been discussing, I guess that's the word. What we've been discussing has a bit of nuance to it on how we achieve that. But everything else doesn't really have that much nuance. It's pretty straightforward, black and white, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So
stop paying for animals to be holocausted. It's pretty
exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's happening in the chat now? Yeah, exactly. Exactly as Stick says. Definitely, if we can prevent wild animal suffering or harm in the future without causing even more harm, that would be ideal in theory. Exactly.
I'm glad this meme is spreading, because at bottom, this is what I care about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all care about that. I believe it's just how we get there, where we maybe have opinions, debates on it, but we all agree. I think we all agree on that, right?
And we can also agree that it's like a very neglected topic. Like nobody's like, I wouldn't say nobody, but like very few people are talking about what happens in the wild and shit.
Yeah, I agree it's a neglected topic, but the reason why it's a neglected topic, by the way, I don't believe it's a neglected topic because we intentionally neglect it, but rather because there's so few people that are vegan. Amongst those, there's so few people that are vegan activists, and amongst those, there's so few that even want to think about that far or dare to think to challenge themselves. So it's not necessarily neglected, but it's rather just not not occupying people's minds too much. That's kind of how I see it.
Sure, it's a way to see it.
I have other questions for you, so if we can move away from the predators, where everybody reach.
I think a friend wants to surf with me soon, but I'm happy to answer until she gets here.
Awesome. Actually, that was my next question, so that's awesome. I think both of you surf, right?
Jigger's learning. Oh, yeah, we're always learning, lifelong, right? But Jigger's a beginning surfer.
Okay. Is that a job for you, Eri? That you're a surfer?
I'm a surf instructor. Yeah, he works helping out the surfing school sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you get a lot of attention from I don't know, the potential partners?
Yeah, man, that's one of the best parts of that job is all the hot girls in bikinis, man. I can't complain much there, man.
There is a factor to your videos where you do have hot girls in bikinis that I won't deny that they.
What's that?
In your videos?
Oh yeah, debating the chicks.
Yeah.
A lot of people tell me that's the kind of content draws them to my channel, so I'm gonna keep supplying the demand, right?
And that's maybe an interesting thing, right? If that attracts also more non-vegans attracting to it and seeing all the things, maybe it does eventually mean more people understanding the vegan message, right? So yeah. And are your colleagues vegan? How's the situation at work? Is
colleagues?
Yeah, no. I'm sorry, I don't know how to call it.
Bunch of carnists.
Yeah.
Oh really?
All of them.
Shit.
Yeah.
Did you have the conversation?
There's a little surf shack where we keep the surfboards and stuff. And Jigger wrote all over it, don't watch.org all over it. And it has created some conversations.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
When people see don't watch, I saw you, Jigger, that you also put it in the on the beach, don't watch that and stuff like that.
So actually, if you actually go to the don't watch officials Instagram, they actually put me there on their page. I'm on the beach. I have a red shirt. It's written on the beach on the sand, and
Oh,
yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
they shared their own posts of
Be
me
right back.
on their story a while ago, and yeah, you can look it up. It's there.
Oh, that is
I
awesome to
don't know.
hear.
I don't know if you have. Can you put that actually on stream? Can you put the picture? Can you look the
Let me.
Instagram?
Yeah. I think I have it. Let me find it.
Yeah,
And
it's there. And I also
and by the
I also
way,
have it on my page, but they just like took the picture and posted it on their own.
and also by the way, for people who, I mean, I know there are a lot of people follow Harry. I don't know how many people follow Jigger, but you should definitely go get on his YouTube channel, subscribe to his channel and stuff, because he, all the conversations you see on Harry's channel, they're either continued or pre
Exactly. Yeah.
predated
Yeah. So I have a part one. Eddie has a part two, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. So they're all great conversations. Honestly, they're all great conversations, and
Thank
they're
you.
worth watching. So I know just get there, man. Just get there, guys. Just subscribe to his channel. He's got awesome content. It's
Yeah, cause the way yeah, is that on my page? I think so. Yeah.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's on your page.
Yeah, you can go on don'twatch.org. They posted it there as well.
Don't
That's one of
watch.
them. There's actually like slides 2 and 3 on that one. So
Where is it on
no, on their Instagram. I mean, don't watch on their Instagram.
Oh, on their
On their
Instagram.
Instagram
Okay.
page.
Hey, don't look at my search.
We haven't
history
made it
here.
that far. Jigger's not at the Tash Peterson, Stefania level to be in the
Honestly,
website.
I can't seem to find that. Don't watch it. I don't think
that's
it's
official.
I don't watch official.
No, official. Like,
Man, that's not how you type it. We're not finding it. There we go.
it is. It's just
Yeah.
official.
Oh,
Is
and
that
you
the
say
official
you're.
one?
Oh shit! This isn't.
There it is. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh,
So
this is okay.
go down.
You're gonna make Cyprian get banned from YouTube.
Is that it? Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No banning here. Female body is the same as a male body. Why can a man show his nipples and a female not? Let's face it.
True story, man.
It's sexist. Oh, this society that we'll live in. And yeah, Harry, your handle is. I wanted to start the stream with this, so I didn't get to start the stream with this. But your handle is "Eat Pussy, Not Animals," and I'm sure you get this question a lot. But is eating pussy vegan?
It's definitely
Hell
vegan,
yeah.
man. If it's consensual, obviously, it
Consent.
wouldn't be a vegan to
Exactly, consent.
like freaking molest a women or if it's consensual sex, there's nothing non-vegan about it.
Completely agree with that. Yeah. Okay, and this is
And eating booty too.
And say that again.
Eating booty, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And is it vegan to? Yeah, it is vegan, obviously. Yeah. Is it vegan to swallow cum?
It is if it's consensual.
That's true.
And would the consent be? I'm asking for a friend. No, she's kidding. No, I'm not asking for anybody.
Wait,
but would the consent be? Can I swallow your cum? Or would the consent be? Can I suck your dick?
No, man. Like if you're already like engaging in the act, and it's obviously the case that it's like
it's an option to swallow or spit.
You don't have to ask it every step of the way, always, unless it's like a new partner or something. You want to keep it, very clearly consensual or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, consent matters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an option if you want to swallow or spit it out. If you're not comfortable,
We got
or if
there.
you are, I mean, you choose.
Yeah, we got there. High protein,
Yeah.
Oh shit, my friend is calling me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys
Honestly,
have to go, it's all good. It's we've
I
been
mean,
doing
I
it
take
for
this
two
call
hours.
really quick. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll ask you, Jigger. You know, like because
Yeah.
I know you're part of all of this also. So, um, what is your the worst argument that you hate the most that people
dang.
bring against veganism? Not and I have this question is in two parts. One, which one is you think the one that is the most detrimental towards veganism, and which one do you think is the hardest to debate or the ones that you hate the most?
One of the top three, I would say, religion. It's so horrible that a lot of people would argue that religion is based on kindness, love, compassion, whatever the belief is. Like, but they are so hypocritical when talking about that. Like, do you like the question is this? Like, do you believe in is your God a benevolent God or a? Because a God, if you think God allows this, um, and it's okay with all that animals are going through their own creation, what are we thinking the devil would allow if God is so horrible like this that God allows this? What would the devil allow?
Is that the
So if
argument
you're
that you
saying
hate the
God
most,
Is
or
is
the
is
question
it?
God is
we're talking about religion now?
No, I
yeah,
asked
he
him
was
what is
saying
the.
he was
Yeah,
asking what's
What?
the most horrible argument, I guess the in my opinion, I guess
The most horrible argument.
yeah. Well, like, what's the worst
yeah.
argument against veganism? And it's a two-part question. One is which one do you dislike the most, or do you find it
Yeah.
the hardest to debunk or debate or whatever to tackle? And which one do you think is worst for the movement itself in general?
I don't mean
Well,
I don't
Jigger already mentioned that, and I can't unsee it now. Like, I think it's very annoying to debate like brain dead religious people like that for some reason think an all powerful benevolent God would allow this to be done to animals. Like, if you're gonna believe in a benevolent God, like it would like you should go vegan, man. Like, stop harming God's sentient creation. So yeah, what's the most harmful to the vegan movement? Like, I'm not sure, man. It's either like religious arguments, but I don't know, or maybe like the carnivore stuff, like the carnivore, the Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson shit. Who knows, man?
Yeah, yeah. I
or
mean,
just ex plant-based people spreading misinformation that you cannot do it because I couldn't do it, or even them saying I couldn't do it but you can. Maybe if you can, you continue to do it but I couldn't. It's like they will think that a lot of people won't be able to do it. Like there's like an argument like doing a plant-based diet, like too many ex plant-based people spreading misinformation when they were not even vegan in the first place. Like they were just doing a plant-based diet at most.
yeah. I think maybe, yeah,
It's
maybe
annoying.
this. What is it called? The appeal to anecdote, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Using anecdotes to. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so,
that's definitely a really bad one for veganism. If you ask me personally, I fucking hate the crop death argument. I just despise that argument so much, and I think it's one of the worst against veganism. Not because it's
I'm
not
happy
so.
to respond to it. I don't think it's difficult
honestly,
to.
you could just ask them like, what do animals eat?
No,
Or
that's not
No,
the
I
no,
don't
best
know
no.
what's the
response.
best way
I want to
to
I want
tell
to
it.
hear Cyprian's position, but I don't think that's the way to respond to it here. But anyway.
So I want to hear what's the best way to respond to it. But like my problem with it is that it's I don't think it's complex, if you ask me. If you use simple logic, it makes sense. But if you
Yeah.
tackle sources and all of it, it becomes a bit of a complex issue. And I believe already you're providing the person with information and they get information overload. And to provide more information to prove this argument, I believe a lot of people get lost when you try to disprove this argument alone. So
I don't
that's
know.
kind of what.
It could be, but that's again an empirical thing. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think is the best way to tackle it, by the way, Harry?
It's from a rights-based approach. I just ask people like, what's the rights violation? Because sometimes it's like a hypocrisy accusation. You can ask them like, how am I being
Yeah.
hypocritical? What's the hypocrisy? Like, what's the value that I have that I'm contradicting with my actions? You can go from that route, or you can ask them, what's the problem on veganism for crops death? Like, what's the rights violation? Like, you can say that you, like, if they ask you, you can say that you believe people should have a right to protect their property, to protect food security for a species or something like that.
Yeah, but what
It's
they're
on them. It's
missing
on
in this
them.
point.
It would be on the burden of proof would be on them to provide what the right violation is.
Yeah, but the point is that people are gonna. They always forget that. What do animals eat? Do they not kill those crop deaths? Do they not cause those crop deaths as well? I'm not saying that. Oh, we're both causing crop deaths. Like it's just like if they're caring about crop deaths, then you're causing more crop deaths by eating a cow or a chicken or
Yeah,
any.
the thing about
So,
going there is that you're like already like like assuming that they're right, that is a bad thing, like, and you're like yeah, I'm admitting I'm doing a bad thing, but who's doing it to a worse degree? Like, I wouldn't even go
That's a
there.
good point.
I wouldn't even like give them
but like
the
to
pleasure of
expand on
accepting it's a
to
bad thing. I would
expand on
ask them, what's the rights violation? How is it wrong on veganism to do that? And it's on them.
but
Like,
yeah,
it's
to
entirely on them.
expand
You
on
don't have
what
to
you
get
were
on. You
saying.
wouldn't have to get on the mathematics of who kills more insects or whatever. Like, you don't have to go there. Like, it would be on them to tell you what's the right violation. And anybody that's like listening, like, I would there's like an hour long video, or like 3 hour long video or something like that by Dr. Avi, and ask yourself that, going over hypocrisy though arguments, including the crop dust. That is an excellent video. I would recommend. And also Apura. I don't know if anybody has heard about Aputa, the Indian vegan YouTuber. Has a small channel, but he has a video on how to respond to hypocrisy though argument. He has a whole dialogue tree on how to respond to them. It's amazing. Like, I recommend to anybody watching to go to Apura's channel and find that, and to go to Dr. Abi's channel and find that video of hypocrisy though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. I merely am looking for what's the best way to, because I believe that I think we all kind of, as vegans, we all kind of know the whole arguments about it, and we all kind of agree. I think the question is, well, my question at least was how to best tackle this for street outrage. And yeah, in the ideal scenario, you would tailor it towards the person.
Yeah, I think that's the most like minimalistic approach, where it's them trying to justify what, like or trying to provide an argument for it being a rights violation. It's all on them. So that's why I think it's the most like
yeah,
the
and
best approach.
like Lodovike mentions, not everybody thinks like that though. Some people will argue more suffering is worth regardless of rights violation.
Yeah, and if somebody goes there, if somebody literally doesn't care about rights violation and they're utilitarians, then you can go to what Jigger was talking about the math, that like vegans are the ones that are gonna cause less suffering anyway, because we eat plants directly instead of murdering a bunch of animals that are fed a shit ton of plants.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good approach. I'll try that. I'm nothing wrong. You try it, you see what happens.
Take a look at Apura's video and Dr. Abi's video. Super helpful, man. Like,
let me see if I can find Apura. How do you spell that?
APPOOTA.
Yep.
I think so. Like double T,
APOT.
double O.
I think the channel is called The Great Teacher Apura. Yeah, he's giving me formal logic lessons. He's a very helpful guy, really cool guy. He's happy to teach formal logic to vegans that want to learn.
Okay, let me share my screen so that you see what I'm doing, because maybe I'm doing something wrong. Because I always welcome more resources for all of this. Is it The Great Teacher? Did I?
Let's see.
With 2 O's and 2 P's, with just 1 T.
Oh, okay. I'm Apura, like this.
That's the
This
one.
one.
Yeah. And he has like a Piers Morgan video on the thumbnail where he tackles the hypocrisy though arguments.
Yeah, that one. Exactly. That's the one.
Okay,
He presents a whole dialogue tree on how to respond to hypocrisy though. So it's like super like useful and intelligent. Yeah, and there's the classic Dr. Avi and Ask Yourself video on hypocrisy though, which is also amazing too.
Yeah. Let me also bring that one up. Doctor, I'm not sure if I'm subscribed to him. So Dr. Avi.
Yeah,
And
AVI.
Ask Yourself hypocrisy though. Yeah, hypocrisy though. No, with yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So
without
it's a
the
really useful video.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me. Yeah, I don't want to watch it right now. I'm just gonna put it in the chat also for.
I think those are the best ways I found to respond to that, like garbage crop deaths, like
the logo.
And I mean, I generally also want to have these constructive conversations amongst us, because sharing resources is so important to find out how we best approach people. And it's interesting that you said, by the way, because it's also slightly different here, right? Because you said the religion is probably one of the worst arguments that you get against veganism, but I wouldn't say that's the case with the people I talk to here in the Netherlands. I would say,
how religious are people there? Is it most of the population? Okay, then that's the reason, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna put some surfing shorts right now because my friend is almost here, but I'm listening. I'll stay for
yeah. Okay. I mean, I have a couple more questions. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also kind of tired. Let me just ask some easy questions out there, and maybe I think we all got so much out of this.
We could also take questions from the chat. If I don't know how many people are still watching.
That's a very good idea. Yeah. So people from the chat, amazing people who have been sitting with us, have been watching us debate and talk about this. Shoot us some awesome questions towards Ari, towards Jigger. Sticks says your message got deleted. I'm sorry, Sticks. Maybe filtered. Yeah, I don't know what YouTube does sometimes. It is what it is. So just shoot us some questions if you have for Jigger or Ari. And
shit, my friend's here, but I'll take a couple questions. But my friend here, Jiggers, can be he can stay for longer if she wants.
Yeah, I'll be good.
I agree that Debug Your Brain has also excellent rebuttals for crop deaths. I think it's just extremely complex to bring up in a street conversation.
I'll take a look. I'll take a look and compare like what I think is the best response. But I haven't taken a look to that.
Yeah.
DYB is pretty cool. His videos.
Yeah, in Amsterdam, the biggest issue usually is, if you ask me, it's people finding that they eat biological, or they don't contribute to this, or they're like, it's this whole. But animals, it's a welfare thing here more. I think that's the bigger issue here, if you ask me.
I agree with you, Ali. I wish I knew the words not allowed.
Well, anyway, I have to go, but I'll take one or two more questions if there's anything in the chat.
Let's see. Ethical debates amongst vegans is so common, but what are the types? Do we know what vegans generally believe? What are the axioms of veganism? That's a good point. What are the axioms of veganism?
What does he mean by axiom? Do you know what he means?
So axioms means like the basis of because if you when you end up at a certain belief, you end up by using logic and all of this, right, and morality. But what are the axioms? Are just yeah.
So I think I get what he means. I would say like veganism is an ethical an applied ethic, so it would extend logically from some of the values that we already have. Like if we are deontologists or utilitarians, I think it follows logically. Andrea, voy ahora, estoy aquí contestando unas preguntas.
Yeah, no, hearing Eddie speak Spanish. Yeah, that was Eddie speaking Spanish.
Okay, yeah, Eddie, tell us now.
Sky was asking.
What are your opinions on neutering or spaying rescue animals? Go, Jigger. It's your time.
I haven't given it a lot of thought about that, but because I don't know, I haven't given it too much thought about it.
What are your opinions on neutering or spaying rescue animals? Yeah, it would turn on like the empirical question if it's good for them, if it prevents like further like homelessness of these animals or something like that, which I think it does. I think it's totally fine to neuter them, to prevent their spread if they escape or something.
Yeah,
And,
there's too
yeah,
many dogs and
too
cats
many
and
homelessness of companion animals already.
yeah, there's
Okay.
like too many. That's why that's why we always say like never buy animals. There's no ethical dog breeder. Like don't believe that shit. Like ethical
Rescue,
breeding.
adopt, don't shop.
Yeah. Some people say that there's an ethical way of breeding.
By the
Let's
way,
do like
sorry to
I'm
interrupt
just
you,
gonna
but I
say
have to go. But
yeah.
I
Go,
really
Eric. It
appreciate
was
you having me, my friend.
it was such a nice conversation. Thank you for joining here.
Be safe, everybody. Take
Yeah.
care. Have a good
Yeah.
Yeah.
one. I'll be
And yeah,
happy to
follow
chat again
Eric.
in the future. Again, be happy to chat.
Yeah.
Take care.
We should do this again for sure. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
To fit. I have more questions for you, but yeah, we should do this again.
Okay, be happy to take them. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye. Jigger, stay on. But let's
Yeah,
continue this
yeah.
conversation for a while.
Yeah, so I was saying that so there's some people that I don't even understand how they would think that there's the ethical ways of breeding any animal, because would they also think the same thing for humans? Yeah, let's since I cannot adopt I cannot have my own babies, my own human babies. I'm gonna adopt, but adopting a breeding like a breeder, buying actually, um, like it's the same thing. Like let's not buy any animal. No.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm actually pretty not sold on the whole idea of having animals as pets, to be honest. Like I already have that as an issue, but
No,
rescue
I
animals,
wasn't
it's
meaning that, but like, yeah, it's always better to rescue, adopt, never buy, because there's no ethical way to buy a breeding from a breeder. There's no ethical breeder. In the same way, there's no
100%.
ethical human baby breeder. It's the same. So no, people that think there's ways of doing it ethically, like humanely, would they take the same stance with humans, like ethical human breeding? I doubt it. I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, they could
I'm
be
gonna pick
consistent. I
another
could be
question.
wrong. They could be consistent, but
Say that again.
they could be consistent that they could think that there's ethical way of breeding a human baby and buying like money, like like I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'll pick more questions from the audience, okay?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on antinatalism?
Yeah, so thank you, Ali. So antinatalism, depending on who I'm bringing into existence, if it's or actually like what am I saying? Let me get my thoughts. So like I'm not like, say for other people, I'll prefer non-vegans don't bring more humans into existence because they're gonna be more non-vegan babies. But if it's a vegan already, like a vegan couple, like girlfriend or whoever it is, if it's two vegans, I guess if you bring another human into existence, you will raise them as vegans as well. So more vegans. But if it's a non-vegan, then it's gonna be a new non-vegan baby. So I'm
Lewis's point is also
anti non-vegan natalist, I guess, if you understand that.
Yeah, but you
But
have no way of knowing whether the child will be vegan or not, right?
but then pro natalist if it's vegan.
But you have no way of knowing if the child will be vegan or not.
Yeah, actually, we Eddie and me were talking about that like a few days ago, like maybe like 2 days ago. We were literally talking about that before, and yeah, in that case, better to not be natalist, like pro, or it's better to adopt, and because you're bringing, instead of bringing a new baby, regardless of if it's gonna be a vegan or non-vegan, like you're not creating any more humans. You're just trying to change a baby who's not vegan and potentially raising them as vegan, like valuing animals, and because it would be horrible if you raise a your own baby and they turn out I don't know how that could be possible. I would like to see like other people's experiences on that. Like how many babies or kids, teenagers of vegan parents end up being non-vegan?
I mean, I don't know if it's 100%. That's the thing, right? Because there's obviously a factor of people of you getting influence from the people you hang out with, right? So if the child grows up vegan and then at some point gets into a place where they're like, oh, I want to be cool, because this feeling of belonging is usually what drives you towards what you're gonna do. And if they think I'm eating animals, I don't want to be vegan because of that, they might not be vegan. Maybe their moral values say that it's not okay to do it, but maybe then they will do it just to fit in or something,
Yeah. So.
Okay. So I would say it's interesting. You're on the edge of antinatalism. You would say if it's two vegan people, maybe you're okay with it.
Yeah, but preferably just adopting an already existing human and try to raise them with a vegan value.
Love it. Next question. By the way, I'm getting pretty tired also. It's been 3 hours, so we'll just take a couple more questions and then end the stream. So, are you a moral realist or a moral relativist? And for this question, I'm gonna Google it because I don't remember what the difference between them is. I don't
even know what that means, to be honest.
And that's perfectly fine. I believe that we should. We don't all know. I know moral relativism is is used to describe several positions concerned with difference in moral judgment across different peoples and cultures. Yeah, I know that. I'm definitely not a moral relativist in any situation. And moral realism, an ethical sentence express positions that refer to objective features of the world. Yeah, I'm a moral realist. I'm definitely a moral realist. So I'm not sure. So the difference between moral realism and moral relativism is basically, do you think culture should is there ever a situation where culture should dictate morality?
I'm not too well educated on this. I don't even know how to answer.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's the thing. Like when I can accept when I'm just not, like, I prefer not having an opinion when I'm not educated enough, because a lot of people have opinions but uneducated opinion. So if I don't have an opinion, a strong opinion that I can like maybe even defend or whatever, like I think I prefer not saying anything if I'm not, if I don't understand it or whatever.
And honestly, I respect that a lot. I respect that. That's exactly what we should do, right? You get informed and then you form an opinion. You don't just form an opinion without getting informed. That's exactly, the reality of it.
It doesn't make sense to have an opinion when you don't even understand. That's why it's so annoying when non-vegans have opinions, because they don't understand anything. You can have an opinion on so many things, but like, it's if you don't
Yeah.
understand that, maybe you shouldn't defend it.
Yeah, I myself have dug into this whole moral relativism and moral absolutism at some point, and I started digging more and more into it, whether what I feel is the right one. And it's a whole another subject, so I don't necessarily want to go too much into it right now, because but I respect your position on this. Let's see if there's more questions in this chat. And if not, I have a couple of questions that I would want to ask you. So these questions you will. So tell me, if there would be one person in this world that you could make vegan, you have this button. You can only choose one person for them to be vegan instantly. Which one would it be? It could be a friend. It could be a personality, somebody. Which one would you want it to be?
Dang. Hard question, because there's. Dang. I'll be the best. Like, I don't know, like because I've been thinking about this before, but I don't know if it's a good, because there people are gonna think that this person would start trying to force people or like change laws, or I'm thinking kind of like government trying to, I don't know, or it could be like maybe someone famous, like to be like in general someone famous that could have like a big audience, like someone that could speak up for the animals with a huge audience. That would help so much. Like maybe like actors or politicians, even or even presidents. I don't know.
I see people saying Leonardo DiCaprio or Elon Musk, but I agree with you. I would also, the thing is that you would choose a personality who would do better for veganism, not necessarily a close person to you, right?
Wait, what's that?
Would you choose a personality that would actually help the veganism movement forward, or would you choose a person that would be close to you, that you would rather, like your mom, your dad, your parents, your sister? I don't know.
Honestly, since it would maybe, if it's someone popular, someone like famous, they could help other people.
I agree with that. Yeah.
They would speak up. Like imagine a president or politician spreading awareness about animals and all that. They could potentially help other people be vegan, but a family member might not do as much unless they are like, I don't know, like do a lot of activism, like try to be like us, like me, motivated by, yeah.
Okay, I have another question for you. That's actually a good answer, what you said, and I agree with you. And that's kind of where I wanted to get with that question anyway, right? I don't necessarily want a particular person, but rather just like this whole idea of, and I see that you are thinking about that, and that's exactly what we want to see.
Well, the more the merrier.
Exactly.
Like
and
people turning vegan.
And I will ask you this final question because I'm getting very tired. I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry.
I was already tired for a while now. How do you envision a vegan world? And by this question, I don't mean necessarily like what do you see as happening in the world, but rather describe a vegan world to you. What does a vegan world mean to you?
It's kind of a hard question when there's like the thing with, because I don't know, the thing, like for example, thinking that what will get us to be closer to not eating it, not using animal, like not killing animals. Like some, like Eddie, for example, thinks like maybe technology, like lab grown, which I don't know, because people, if we have different reasons for that, people would eventually not care and go back to killing animals in a slaughterhouse. Like, but if it's in an ethical, with an ethical reason,
Yeah,
I
ethical
think
reason. Yeah.
we need more ethical reasons, not technology reasons, because to use animals, like these, some people using utilitarian arguments, like kind of like, because so in my opinion, I think lab grown meat is kind of like an utilitarian, because we're still seeing animals. Like, yeah, we still need to eat animals. Let's eat animals, but not kill them. Let's recreate their muscles, their flesh, and still eat them. We need to eat animals. We're just like, let's look at a different way to do it. Like, it's the same thing. Like, can we not just eat plants? Like, because
But
I've
let's
had conversations with some people when I'm doing activism, and they're saying that they would eat lab grown meat. But I asked them, are you gonna wait for lab grown meat to be accessible all around, like everywhere, to change, or can you change with the plant based options that you already have today? Are you gonna wait for who knows when it's gonna be like really accessible? Shouldn't you change now?
But that's a good point, right? But that wasn't
Yeah.
my question. I just want to be clear. Like my question was, let's assume that you could press a button and go into the future, and
Yeah.
then in the future we get to this place where the whole world is vegan, ethical reasons. Like the whole world is vegan, ethical
Yeah.
reasons, right? And you get there, and it's middle of the night, whatever. It's not nobody's on the streets. You don't know, whatever. You go to sleep, and my question is, before going to sleep, how do you see the world when you wake up? What do you think, what do you expect of the world when you wake up? Like maybe you could say something like, oh, I don't know, all the restaurants would be vegan, everybody would be vegan, if there would be world peace, I don't know, like stuff like that. Like what do you think the
You
consequence?
basically gave me that idea. So yeah, like all the restaurants would be actually in this case we wouldn't even call it a vegan restaurant. We just call it a restaurant because it's
Oh,
all
that's a good
vegan.
point. Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you want to go to a vegan restaurant? What do you mean? They're all vegan. So do you want to go to a restaurant? Yeah.
What
Do you want to eat vegan food? What do you mean? You want to eat food? Because
what
they're not gonna be animals in there. So
what would you be most excited about?
Excited about what do you mean exactly?
Like you arrive in this world, right? And what would be like the first three things that you would want to do in this world or find out about the world? Like you find out that you arrived in a vegan world for ethical reasons. The world is all vegan for ethical reasons. What would be the three things that you want to know or want to do? The first three things that you will want to know or want to do.
Well, animal agriculture not existing anymore. And of course, like since it's animal agriculture is just food, but the like because I'm saying animal agriculture, but I'm not saying like the murder house, like slaughterhouse, for flesh, for clothing. Like they would still kill the animals for. So I don't want places where we murder animals for any, like no animal cow skin for clothing, like a jacket like this. Since it's not cow skin, it's vegan leather. No SeaWorld, or actually, I'll take that back. Let me explain. robotic animals at SeaWorld. Like just
That's a good
liberate
point.
the animals and robotic SeaWorld with all robotic animals. And instead of, I don't even know the because even like zoos, people say that, oh, it's educational, but there could be like a different way to educate people. Like, not, we don't need to use real animals to educate people. We could educate them with a robot and have like information about their behaviors and whatever. So like
I love
zoos,
how
we could even go into a vegan zoo, a vegan sea world, just robotic animals, or I don't even how.
and that is that what you would do? The first thing you would do is you would go to SeaWorld to see the robotic animals.
I mean, not necessarily. Honestly, because I would love to see animals in their like in nature. Like for example, I know a lot of vegans who are like, I don't go to SeaWorld, to zoos, circuses, etc. because I respect the animals, right, and their freedom. But a lot of vegans miss going to aquariums, right? But imagine
Yeah,
an aquarium like a uh underwater aquarium, like when we can walk in, go underwater, and then see all the animals swimming around us.
yeah.
So we
I
are
mean,
the caged ones. We're the inside a crystal or something. That
so
could
that's
be
what you would.
a vegan way of having an aquarium. Just like
That's
a
interesting.
outside world aquarium. I don't even know how it would be called. Something like that.
And that's the first thing you would do. Like, I want to know what you would do. What other the first things that you would do?
Oh,
Like, you
you
wake
mean?
up, the whole was vegan. Yeah. So what you answered is the answer to my first question. But the answer
Yeah,
to
I
the
think.
second question is what would you do in the
Uh,
if you woke up in this vegan world? What the top three things that you would want to do?
yeah, I think I wasn't understanding your question until now. Um, dang. Mm, I don't even know, cause I mean, yeah, dang. I never thought about this. If like, uh, maybe just be with the animal. Like for example, if let's say there's no like all those millions of animals are like there's like a enough amount of animals, like not like overpopulated like people believe, right? But I will be with the animals. Like I would spend time with them. Like I guess that's what I mean to say. That's the first thing I would do to
That's
answer your
awesome.
question. I finally understood it.
Like in sanctuaries, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, and even in the wild, like maybe like cows in the wild, if I could get close to them. But yeah, mostly um, sanctuaries. Um, I don't know if sanctuaries are would be existing because maybe we don't. Because sanctuaries to basically protect them, even though we could still protect them from exactly like if we're having like carnivore animals, because that way would be like having carnivores in captivation be fed with plant-based foods or yeah. So
Yeah,
um
it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know if I would do that personally. I would just go have a pizza or something. I don't know. I'm one of those
yeah,
people. It's like first thing I want to see
because
how the food
honestly,
is.
so today I was like trying to answer like in a future if I
Yeah,
ever were to meet a vegan
yeah,
future
yeah.
or close there. But in like today, I cannot wait to visit my first farmed animal sanctuary, like vegan, because there's so many sanctuaries, vegan sanctuaries that actually are not really vegan.
Interesting.
that are actually like so many people that are the owners of these sanctuaries. I don't even know. Like they would even some of them I've even heard like I've even read that they put on their Instagram bio equine. Like I don't know how that's pronounced. Like EQ, like riding horses, right? So
Yeah,
that's not vegan. So just that would tell me that that sanctuary is not really a vegan one. So, but yeah, I
that's
cannot
real.
wait to visit my first animal sanctuary. To talk a little bit more about myself, I'm an emotional guy. I can cry. I'm not those kind of men that think that
Same,
men don't cry. No, I do cry, and I
same.
honestly think that I'm gonna ball. I don't know how much, but I'm gonna cry when I first meet like animals. I'm gonna get very emotional. I kind of already am right now, but I just
I
know that
believe you, man.
I'm gonna cry.
That's a beautiful reaction. That's what I mean. I cried. I literally cry sometimes when I see things online. So I can imagine
Yeah,
in
I,
going to see knowing what's happening in the animal industry, knowing what they go through. Obviously,
yeah. It's like
it's a
finally
normal
seeing
reaction.
them liberated. That's gonna be oh, amazing. And I want to spend time with them. Like I'm saying, like when I first meet them, cause I cannot wait to meet who I used to exploit, who I used to abuse, who I used to eat. I kind of want to like talk to them and uh, I'm kind of getting a little emotional.
It's okay. It's okay. I get it.
I'm not ashamed to cry though. I'm just like
I get it, my man. I get it.
I
It's
want to
yeah.
hug animals, caress them, and yeah,
That's
play
that's
with
just
them. I've seen cows and I don't know. I want to hug a turkey, a chicken. Uh, I okay. So who else?
pigs, man. Pigs are
Pigs.
awesome.
Pigs. Yeah. um. Yeah. So I've seen videos of people playing with like baby cows or like even adult cows. Um. I want to be that guy. Also, since I know a lot of animals love music and they enjoy listening, I'm a musician, so I also want to play guitar to them. I've seen a guy that plays guitar to them, and the cow on the person's like on the side
I
or
saw that
like
one.
yeah. I've seen a few of them, and like that's me, honestly. Actually, let me show you real quick. Hold on, be right back.
Yeah. Everybody, I'm getting pretty tired, by the way, guys. It's been a 3 hours and a half discussion, and it was pretty intense at points, and I had to pay a lot of attention. So thank you so much for bearing with us and sitting here having a conversation. I want to tell you guys, subscribe to Jigger. It's important that you guys subscribe to this
So this is my
to
guitar,
him.
a
Oh,
classic
that's
guitar.
awesome. And speciesism. Love it. Do you play?
Yeah.
Play us something. Yeah. You know what? Play us some. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. So play us something while I'm gone.
So I won't see. Oh no, oh no, yeah, yeah. Sí, sabes que ya llevo un rato mirándote. Tengo que bailar contigo hoy. Sí, si tu mirada ya estaba llamándome, muéstrame el camino que yo voy. Something like that. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
I hope we
something
don't
English.
get copyright issues with us, but
Oh yeah, I hope not either. This is a little more rock.
that that is awesome. Let's not. I love your singing, by the way. You're talented, but I'm afraid that we
Oh.
might get copyright issue with all of it, right? So I already have a song where a person on a busker started playing this one song, and it's already
Oh,
marked as
actually,
copyright.
hold on. Yeah, thank you for telling me. Wonderwall coming for you. Today is gonna be the day that I'm gonna throw God to you. By now, you should somehow realize what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Lucky the wolves in the street, but you're running your always on. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had it down. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the light that lead the way are blinding. There are many things that I like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because baby, you gotta be the one who saves me. And after all, from my wall.
Okay, enough. No more. I don't want to get copyright striked. I don't want to get a strike for copyright.
Hopefully it didn't already happen. I don't know.
Say that again.
Thank you, guys.
Dude, you're very talented, by the way. You're very talented.
Yeah, I've been playing guitar for well, actually since 2010.
That's almost 14 years. That's a
14
lot.
years. Yeah. I mean, not to like, because a lot of people that play for all that amount, the ones that are like practicing like very good, like I'm pretty good, but I never got to be like, the ones that can do like guitar solos very fast. I can do like a little more slower guitar solos. A few, I don't know, like. I kind of
Don't sell
someday want
yourself
to do
short.
like a live stream, like my own live stream playing guitar again, because I used to do it like years ago. But yeah, I want to do that again, like someday.
Don't sell
Playing
yourself short, man.
guitar.
I think you're talented. Don't sell yourself short. You got
No, 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 I'm
all
not
of
selling
these
myself
people.
for. Yeah,
All of these people love it. You know,
yeah. Thank you.
they all love it, man. So I mean, I'm gonna end it here because I'm getting pretty tired. And I still need to eat. I know a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
um, I want to thank you, Jigger, for being here. I
Thank you.
encourage everybody. Let me share my screen right now. I encourage everybody to subscribe to Jigger's channel. He's got not enough subscribers. He's got all of these conversations that Ari has as well. You will find them also on his channels, as I said, sometimes pre, sometimes afterwards. So definitely watch his videos. Yeah, I know it seems like I only watch half of it, but sometimes I have a lot of this where I watch the whole video, but then I stop to I come
Yeah.
back to the video to record to see some arguments and stuff. I'm gonna put it in the chat right here. You know, I think we all need to support each other as vegans and even if activists, and sometimes we disagree on things here and there, but you know, it's we all fighting for the same thing, and both Jigger and Ari are doing great job. Both have awesome channels. Both are in an environment where it's very difficult. It's difficult. I believe that in Puerto Rico, it's not as easy as it is in other places to get people to go vegan. It's not as easy to find vegan food as you mentioned it. So I think you guys are doing a great job. You know, I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. Thank you everybody for being here. Like the video, drop a comment. Subscribe to Jigger, subscribe to Ari's channel. Let me put Ari's channel, although I'm sure everybody is already subscribed to Ari.
Yeah.
I'm only assuming this because he's got a lot of subscribers. I don't know. I would like to have a catchphrase at the end of this and tell everybody
Yeah.
stay vegan or that kind of stuff.
I don't even know what would be that catchphrase, like outro catchphrase.
Just stay vegan, guys. Just stay vegan. Defend animals.
And
we all have differences.
Let's have more people picking up for the animals. We need more.
Exactly. And we have our differences, but we all unite in speaking up for animals. We all unite in this one cause, veganism. So keep it real, guys.
Yes.
Let's not forget all of this. Let's not let all of these micro things that we have, our differences, like divide us. Okay, we all want the same thing. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you, Jigger, for being here. And
thank you all for being like the people in chat. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
And thank you for the music compliments. Yeah.
You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Yeah. All right.
Have an awesome evening, guys. I will end the stream right now and bye.
Bye.